business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
For the finest in vinyl siding, rain gutters, overhangs, storm and replacement windows, even patios and decks, trust in the experts at Ultimate Siding and Gutters. In addition to being licensed and insured, our technicians are also friendly and courteous, performing hassle-free service and installation at affordable rates. Plus, we provide free estimates for commercial and residential structures. Our entire staff will exceed your expectations. For the ultimate in siding, gutters, and much more, call Ultimate Siding and Gutters today.
Welcome back, everybody. Racing Revolution is where we are here tonight with SimTrax Broadcasting. Patrick Morrison here in the booth. I'll be providing live commentary all night tonight, and boy, we've got one worked up for you guys. As you can see already here on this warm-up screen, we got a few guys actually making what they unusually do, right turns. We are at Circuit of the Americas here tonight. Man, oh man, we got a lot of guys who are looking to really aim themselves into the Elite 8 come playoff race time. Seeing that this is the second race in the top 12, we move to the top 8 next round. Roeder, if you guys remember from the last race, actually secured his spot into the next round for the Elite 8. Travis Gilbert ended up second, and Ted Rekish, one of our part-time drivers out there, ended up third. Awesome job by him, but we've got to crown somebody else. We've got to get somebody else locked in for this next round into the Elite 8. Right now on the track, Trevor Earhart has turned just shy of 7 laps. Fastest on the track right now. And he's got to be feeling pretty confident at this point, seeing that we head to another road course here. Now, Roeder ended up with Michigan. And then if we get one of our fine road course guys, let's say Earhart, Justice Murphy. Right now, Jeremy Burns is sitting second in his Chevrolet with some solid practice time with us. Isn't qualifying yet, but if we get some solid practice time here, what does this turn out to be? Right now, I've got at least the top 5 drivers right now. Earhart, Burns, Murphy, Thorpe, and Berube. Any of these guys could be the next one to lock themselves into the next round of the playoffs here tonight. And I'm pretty excited to see how that works out. Let's take a look at what this track is going to be looking like here so far. Got a lot of drivers out there kind of poking around, giving it a look. I will admit, this is going to be just shy of 3.5 miles per lap. We're going to be running 34 laps here. So 90 degrees in the air, 118 on the track. I think they would definitely want to make 110% sure that the tires are going to stick here, because these guys are going to be trying their best, getting this thing to hook, making that turn, and they don't want any lack of it sliding around. Stage break will be at lap 10. I would assume probably some guys may just go ahead and top off the tires. If we remember anything from Justice Murphy and Parker Johnston at Road America, tires are no-go. Do not take tires, but it's definitely an idea here with that 50% fuel limit. They'll have plenty of tires, 5 sets. I don't see these guys using maybe more than 1-2 sets, if that. And tonight is a money race. So $20 to whoever wins this race, and then $20 to a random finisher. And they do have to complete the race. It doesn't matter if they're 5 laps down, but they have to complete the race, and hopefully they'll have a really great time and a chance to get this done. So we are going to be running the All About Bugs 115 here tonight. And Stella, what a wild race we're going to be looking at here so far. I think we've got you just about squared away. What can you tell me about the track here tonight?
Yeah, I do believe I've had a little hiccup of my own technicals tonight, but I think I'm back, yes?
Yes, you are.
Hot dog. Well, I'll tell you, this track opened in 2012, and it is, like you say, 3.46 miles long with 20 turns, 133-foot change in elevation, and the big red is your lap number 1, or I should say your turn number 1. They don't seem to have all the cute names that everybody else does, but I think it probably has to do with the fact that they've only been racing here for 2 years so far, at least with the NASCAR circuit.
Taking a look out there. Got a few more guys that were, I think, a little gun-shy about joining the race here tonight, and they're showing up. I'm really glad to see that. Seems we have just shy of about 20 drivers out here. Chevrolets dominate the field. All right, now,
Absolutely.
I think I've got about 10 of them out here. 2 Toyotas and 4 Fords, so it's not looking too strong for the Toyota and the Ford gallery here. Justice Murphy still out on the track, trying to get some solid time in. Now, I know Justice Murphy and a few of the other drivers out there have been doing a lot of practicing, and they're still trying to get it down. We saw Justice Murphy during the warm-up there a little bit, already locking up those front tires, trying to figure out how to get this thing set, in the right angle to get lined up for these turns. Justice Murphy still does not have the fastest lap here on the track. Now, let me see if we can go ahead and get that pulled up onto the screen. Here are the fastest laps out here, as they've only got about 10 seconds left for practice. I wonder why we were taking just a little bit longer. They'll have 10 minutes to qualify, seeing that these times are taking just about 2.5 minutes. Woo! And that's one thing you're going to see here is some of these guys playing with that brake bias. They've got to figure out kind of the back and forth of how much too much is front brake, how much is too much back brake, and trying to, figure out how to dial that in. And Stella, you and I saw back at Road America, I keep throwing it to that one because that's kind of the oddball one that we saw out there, is, too much brake bias in the front locks up the front tires, I can't steer. But too much brake bias in the rear, I can't turn, and it locks the rear end up, and then the back end slides around, which we're seeing now at Justice Murphy, is the back end's just sliding around too much. And it's going to be a whole lot of, just that breaking point of how much to put on and how much not to put on these next-gen cars.
Well, maybe he's looking to drift. Sorry, I got caught up on that turn 1 there watching him.
Yeah, he's definitely, it's going to be some trouble. I know we're going to have a lot of off tracks here tonight. I don't believe the scrutiny is as bad, because here's that chicane. That kind of switch back and forth, and that is... That's going to test a lot of drivers' patience and a lot of them bumping around. I don't think this has been on the NASCAR circuit for very long.
No, just 2 years. And it's funny you say, because so far Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain are the only drivers to win at COTA. And you know what? They were both in Chevys.
No kidding. We're taking a look at Justice Murphy's Chevy right here. We already saw him slide off the track. And it's... This track does have a good amount of straightaways, so these guys will be really slamming the gears to get down, the straightaways. But once again, now we're going to be grinding the gears again, getting through these turns. But let's go ahead. Let me talk a little bit about the chat out there. Bowden going, "Let's go, Brandon," and that is not being political. He is rooting on Brandon Richardson in the 29 Toyota. Hopefully, he's able to stay, get a solid time here tonight, as he is obviously, as you can see by that blue banner onto the windshield, that 29. Toyota out here, that he is in the playoff running, but he's also in a cutoff spot, so he's got to place very, very well here tonight via points. He was
using the other side of the road course.
Yeah, it's going to be trouble. What you're going to see is these guys are going to probably widen the amount of the turns wider than they are. but definitely use every single inch around these turns. Bowden also says that sponsors don't pay him enough to run road courses. Next season, I know they're over 4, if not more, on the next season coming up. It's still on the drawing board, but it's not going to be as easy for some of these drivers. So they've got to start getting used to these road courses, which I was poking at some of the new drivers we have out here. Jackson Lomax to be one of them. I see you out there in the chat that he said he was going to do a little more practicing before he came out here with the Racing Revolution League and see how well they do. But Justice Murphy almost looking at that, I believe his first warm-up lap here, and that's him crossing the line. That's about how long it's taken here. So now his time is under on the mark now. So now we're ticking off how long it's going to take before he can start getting some solid speed here. Matthew Robinson is out there in the chat as well as Sonny Poston there. Hey, and Burns lock in that number 9. Burns is going to have to do really a heck of a job here. Burns has got to turn it up and make some solid maneuvers here to make sure he stays into the playoffs. He's got a lot of these drivers out here have a lot at risk coming into this race, and a lot of and they just feel so nervous. So,
but
Raiders,
sure, it's a lot of risk, but it's also a lot of potential. All you have to do, you have such a small field on this that you have the increase in your chance of winning is huge, and that's an instant lock-in, right?
as long as you win. So that's where I was going to go over the points. Is Raiders the only one to lock into the Elite 8 here?
Sure.
Second will be Trevor Earhart, Caleb Gilbert third, Justice Murphy fourth, and Nick Alves sitting in fifth. So that brings Jeremy Burns sitting sixth. So he is just above the cutoff line where Kevin Orlando and Alex Kenton are. Now, Alex Kenton, we saw him just make it by the skin of his teeth, into the playoffs to begin with after that crazy Daytona race where, they just squeezed by. Burns won it. Nick Alves came second, and Kenton came third. That was the shootout to the end. Kenton just barely made it, and right now he's at that Elite 8, 3 points above the line. Now, just below the line is Grant Thorpe. Now, Grant Thorpe, he's going to hate that I pulled just to him as he's sliding off the track a little bit. But the 77 Tennessee Chevrolet out here, he's sitting ninth, 3 points below the line. Brandon Richardson, 6 points below the line. Parker Johnston, he's 7 points below the line. And Alex Berube, he is 8 points below the line. So right now we're looking at Thorpe, Richardson, Johnston, and Berube. These guys are on the cutoff. They have got
I would have really expected to see Parker out here tonight.
Yeah, I was waiting to see, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there we go. How about that? There's Parker right there.
Ah, okay.
Right now I think we are finally starting to get some times up here. Murphy, Burns, and Johnston laying down some solid time. Some of these guys may just say, you know what, it ain't worth my qualifying time. I'm going to be in the back anyway, and they may or may not come out here and qualify. But to me, the way I look at it, Stella, is even these guys who are not showing up, practice, practice, practice. No way is better practicing. You can do it with the AI. You can do it by yourself. To me, it's running side by side with somebody. And regardless whether you're, I'd like to see a huge upset. You might do a lot better than you think. These guys, I would say, you get Justice Murphy or Trevor Earhart out here. These guys are beams of light. They just have their car on a rail at every single road course. And it may be hard. It's going to be practically impossible to beat these guys, but still continuing that momentum forward is exactly what you need, and practice is the only way to do it.
I was going to say, aren't we running COTA next season?
To be determined.
Okay. I was going to say, if they're going to follow the NASCAR circuit, I know it's on it.
Yeah, I know it will be on it. But like I was saying, the season being on the drawing board, there's still options that the Racing Revolution would like some of these drivers to spend time with their families. So they're going to kind of wedge in a few off weeks here and there and kind of give these guys a breather.
That would be delightful.
Right. And we saw they definitely gave these guys off 2 weeks during the holidays, but it's time to turn and burn here. I know a definitive start date should be March 1st for Season 3. So if you guys are looking to sign up with the Racing Revolution League or come out here and race, you can find them on Facebook, or if you go to simtracksbroadcasting.com, I've even got the link there to all the leagues that I broadcast. That way you can join whatever league that you see that I'm broadcasting, such as the Big Show, Coast to Coast Racing League, Racing Revolution, Doghouse Racing League, which their debut race is tomorrow. I'll be hosting them. So if you're looking to kind of get into the racing scheme, that you can stop a Simtrax broadcast and they'll either take you to their Facebook or their social media link where you can get a hold of them and come turn some laps with these guys. You think you're fast? Let's see how fast you are.
So sounds good. Yeah, I see out there in the chat, like you say, both Matt Robinson and Jackson Lomax are trying to stay out of the way, of the playoff guys. To me, if it's only the playoff guys sitting out there, they're not racing. We need a nice full field, and you're not going to get in their way. Race. It's like saying that the umpire at second base is in the way of playing baseball. If you hit her, it hits you, whatever it is, what it is. But to me, if you're going to give Robert Rader a 1 in 10 chance of getting up front, guys, come on.
Yeah, that's definitely an option here. Alex Brube sitting right now 3rd place here in the run. I would say here, Stella, this is looking pretty tight. Some of these guys, there is less than 2 minutes left on the qualifying clock for these guys to turn around. I'll probably have this track map up here pretty... Whoa, Brube, easy.
Well, yeah, that would be wonderful.
He's definitely throwing it around here. That red line, you're going to kind of see sectors. Sectors are the red dots, and then that line is the start-finish line. So Brube trying to pick up some pace here to see if he can get a little higher. Last lap, he had a 2:16.82. So, whoa! Oh, man, that probably did it for him on that one.
Yeah,
it's a little too much. Maybe hitting that
guys
wall
will hammer that out.
ended up in some scrutiny and then kind of able to kind of chase that one down. Let me see if I got anybody else. I believe Kevin Orlando might be out there. Let's see if I can find Kevin. There he is. Kevin Orlando in the 27 machine. Confidence level is also varying between all the drivers out here, and I think that's really interesting to see kind of where they weigh how it was going. But that look at that, boy. It's interesting to see who is tuned into the broadcast. Out there in the chat, there's Alex Berube out there saying the last lap was already crummy, and it's interesting. It's funny to watch how he's who's tuned in, because to me, I almost kind of give a sneak peek of what's going around the track. So if you're out there in the back, you're in the front, you're like, oh man, this is it. I know everybody's pitting. What should I do? So that might be a genius idea to really give that a shot here. But here we go. Come on, Kevin. Uh-oh.
Well, that's an unusual way to qualify.
I think he ended up, coming off the track too many times. Now, I know the scrutiny is high during qualifying, but not during the race. Incident level is off. If you see him kind of chop this hairpin just a little bit, it may call it as an off track. And last thing we want to do is DQ somebody for dropping 2 tires into the grass. I mean, come on. This is a road course. We're going to be using every inch plus more. So that's gonna go ahead and do it for us. On that, the guys are gridding. And we'll see if we can get down to the grid. There they are. Looking pretty solid. All right, Stella. I think it's time. Let's see if we can go ahead and grab a hold of our guys out here. Let's take a look at our starting grid. Trevor Earhart and Justice Murphy, of course, in the front. I got to admit, just from this angle, I'd expect nothing less. These guys being here in the front. Alex Berube sitting 3rd with Jeremy Burns 4th. Grant Thorpe will be 5th, and on the outside of row 3 will be Caleb Gilbert starting in that 6th position. Parker Johnson's got a lot to prove here, but a solid top 10 qualifying will start him 7th, with Jacob Sirkovich 8th. I know these guys are locking and loading for the 24 Hours of Daytona. So some of these guys have been practicing a lot, trying to make sure they're kind of settled in and ready for road course driving. Sirkovich would be one of them. Michael Bennett, sitting in the 9th position. John Fike 10th. Don't forget, we're looking at Brandon Richardson. Bowden kind of rooting him on here, sitting in 11th with Nick Alves 12th. So a lot of interesting drivers way here in the back, not kind of tossing it up between back and forth. Alex Kenton, we talked about how he's on the cutoff line, sitting 13th. Steven Sommer, we'll see him in the 81, starting 14th. Robert Rader, I'll admit, probably we'll see if Rader can suit up here tonight, or if he's how he does here in the 53, starting 15th. Kevin Orlando into the 16th position, and rounding out our 9th row, Brandon Barrier and Blake Cook, 17 and 18. So just like I said, just shy of about 20 drivers, but that's A-okay. A lot of it takes a lot of skill to run these road courses, and actually be fast here is really a lot harder than it seems. There's not really a right way to do it, but there's a fast and there's a slow way to do it.
Well, okay, tell me this, or riddle me this. Is it better to be slower and stay on the course, or try to go fast and rub all the edges?
Well, it's definitely two different options and two different angles that, you know, if you're thinking about taking it here, is look at how Road America ended up. Parker Johnston took his time, no mistakes, won the race. Justice Murphy checked his tires and shouldn't have done that, lost the race. But we saw at the Daytona Roval, Justice Murphy was blowing the tires off his car and led the entire race, was hardly under fire. I mean, I think one time by Trevor Earhart. And
yeah.
But he won that race, and I mean, like, within 10 to 12 seconds of lead time. It was huge between him and the guy in fifth. It was just so much distance. So it definitely would be different angles of how to take this course. You know, do we, you know, fast slow, and you know, and you know,
Right.
It's hard. It would be hard to say here, Stella, because I really don't know what the right answer to that would be. Obviously, you know, you could have the Raider concept here is, if I don't have fresh air, I'm not going to win. I've got to get out front. And right now, if you're racing side by side with somebody, you're out of your line, you're out of where you're fast, you know, where you're used to being fast. But if you're out there running by yourself, you don't know where you need to improve. Some of these guys will follow behind. Let's say, Brandon Richardson can get caught up, let's say, to Alex Berube here. Notices his breaking points, and they'll actually learn from each other where their soft spot is and attack them on the next lap, but not too many laps. So they're going to have to spend a lot of time figuring out, you know, how to pass the next guy, but can't spend too much time that it puts them really behind the 8 ball here. That's going to be it, lining up here. Double file as we run to the line here, Stella. And this is going to be an awesome run here at the Circuit of the Americas. Come on, green flag.
Green,
there we go.
green.
Yeah, you see Barney looks like he's encased in glass here today. Definitely don't want anything flying around him. Grant Thorpe already making a shot here toward the inside. And this is going to be it right here. Ooh, the squeeze.
Oh.
That's that turn one. There it is, mashing it up. And we're going to scoot back here. Looks like everybody came out unscathed. Maybe a little bit of touching there, but everything's squared away and A-OK.
There will be no fast repairs on this race.
Oh,
Correct?
man. No, there's not. No fast repairs. Out
Okay.
there, Bowden Motorsports. If consistency is key, then why is Mr. Consistency, Mark Martin, have 0 championships? Oh, man, come on.
Ouch.
This guy. Oh, my God.
Because he was a nice, clean driver.
Yeah, in a sense. But if you watch the 1991 Champion Sparkplug 400 and when he was running the Folgers, you may beg to differ. He definitely doored a few people that race.
I don't think I remember him in the Folgers.
Oh, yeah, that was way before Valvoline, and that was before his fancy-dancy Pfizer car.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Very good. That was good.
All right. So Trevor Earhart is going to go ahead and take us to the lead here. So far, leading lap 1 here. Not too much speed out of these guys. We'll kind of pop up a little bit of a dashboard here. And this is where they are hitting that straightaway. So it's going to be really interesting to see here kind of what everybody decides to do out here on the map. Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah.
You're starting to see the separation already by the to the rest of the field here. Oh,
Something
there we go.
happened to Berube.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we're interesting. He was following his line, though. Do you think he was learning? I'm sorry.
So critical. Yeah, these guys are.
Oh.
Man, yeah, it's going to continue, and the key is trying to limit this. Uh-oh. I think I just saw a barrier.
Oh dear. Yeah, because Berube just dropped down to like 14th.
Yeah. Now I will say, noticing Raider is showing him as a lap down here. Seeing that he is locked in, my guess would be he is doing his best to stay out of everybody's way on this one. He is already locked in. He doesn't need this race. He doesn't need the next race. He's already locked in the top 8. But, man, I would definitely be trying for some penalty. Well, actually, for some playoff points and not getting any penalties between now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parker Johnston, he's still sitting here in 7th. Biggest mover of the race here so far. Kevin Orlando is up 5 positions, sitting 11th.
You know, Kevin Orlando has been flying around this track during practice, and by flying, I mean, I've seen pictures where his front 2 wheels were off the ground, his 4 wheels were off the ground. as he hit these sides, it's pretty cute.
Yeah, he's definitely trying his luck here, seeing if he can get around, getting around this track. We'll try to roll it back here occasionally and see what we've got going on here. Looks like everything's calmed down a little bit. We'll take a peek. I know one of them was showing that John Fike had a problem out here. Kind of take a peek at it and see if anything happened. This may have been on the start. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. Let's take a look at Berube's issue here. See if he got into turns. Oh! Just kind of looped it right there.
I'm fascinated, however. He is facing, oh, nice checkup. Facing backwards and everything on the track and no caution.
Yeah, that checkup went well until it overheated his tires and got him right here.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Oh, there was the second one. Yeah, so whatever he did, you saw when he locked those tires up, that just, it overheated the rest of the, overheated him there, and that's just not enough. Oh, man. All right. So,
look at this. It looks like a giant bowl of worms. I mean, they're just lefts and rights and rights and lefts and sometimes straights when they're supposed to be going lefts and rights, but
yes.
It's wild.
Up here in the front, Trevor Earhart's now starting to pull away, almost a 2-second lead over Justice Murphy. I know Justice would like to be able to go ahead and get a win here. Seeing he's sitting 4th in the points, Trevor Earhart sitting 2nd. Either one of these two gentlemen winning it here tonight, like I said, lock them into 8th, into the Elite 8. And to me, winning a stage here, so if Earhart can win a stage, that should give him another playoff point to lead into the 8. And get
and
them
that's
locked
in another
away.
7 laps, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry, yep. Being at lap 10 is where we're going to start. And you definitely look at all of them shuffling. That is.
No.
Yeah, I do like how the lap, we do have a stage break here at 20 because they are starting to spread out. I mean, between Earhart and Barrier, we're looking at almost a minute separation here.
No, stage break at 10.
Yes.
Okay.
What'd I say?
20.
Good Lord.
Sorry. I'm just keeping you honest.
All right. Alrighty. Richardson has now fought himself up 4 positions here in his Toyota. Got in front of Parker Johnson and Michael Bennett, and that's something to say. You know, I don't think Richardson's a big road course guy, but right now Parker Johnston is, and he's in front of him at this point. Passed him earlier and hasn't looked back at this point, just continuing his charge back to, up to the front. I think a solid top 5 out of Richardson would increase his chances. Grant Thorpe sitting 3rd is the only guy above him before that cutoff line. So, yeah, it's starting to get, whoop. Oh no. And that's all all it takes. You see one missed turn, 2 places down. So now he's slid down to 9th as Michael Bennett gets in front of him as well. And Bennett really having a good head on his shoulders. After I had a conversation with him earlier, or later actually, when oh boy, Parker, there he goes.
Wow.
Yeah, Michael Bennett sliding up a couple positions here with some.
No, don't say.
Yeah, one of those things is like, and that's what you're saying, slow, steady, and right now, look, Michael Bennett's now into 7th. So as everybody's shifting and moving around here, but just one turn can kind of flip this all around. For a lot of these drivers out here.
Yeah, well, we haven't looked at Caleb Gilbert or number 18 Sirkovich, and they're up there in 4th and 5th.
Yeah.
That's
they are.
pretty good.
I know. I wasn't expecting these guys to be here. I know there was some little competition out there. Like I said, these guys are heating up for that 24 Hours of Daytona. Teams are starting to assemble and, see how they can kind of work with each other at this point so far. Now, they won't obviously be here, but it's just, getting used to the car. Whoop. Look at Grant sliding off that turn there.
And Nick Alves has gone to the pit.
Oh.
Well, it did say it. I swear.
Yeah, he may have come down. I see he did pit on lap 3.
Okay.
Kevin Orlando pit on lap 2. So I don't know if maybe some damage or something's overheating, or they're are trying to kind of outwit the rest of the field here. They may not have to pit during this run. There's still a possibility. I'm not saying that's 100% what's happening, but there's still that possibility of them being out there. But here's taking a look here at Justice Murphy. Seems to be kind of calm, cool, and collected out there on the track. Oh man, a Bengals uniform. Oh boy. Hopefully it's not his good luck charm.
and being a Tennessee boy, come on.
Yeah.
But he's got his All About Bugs hat on.
Yes, he does. Sponsor of the race. He's out here getting it done. So far, sitting second. Still a respectable position, but man, look how much he's having to crank the wheel back and forth and back and forth. He's having a really heck of a time here. And this, could you imagine if we had 150 laps here? This would wear you out something fierce.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it'd wear them out too. Sorry.
Yep. Trevor Earhart now still up almost 3 seconds here. He's got this thing down right now. Section 1 is where he's winning, which is really between the finish line and the middle of turn 1.
Okay. Can you show me what their most recent lap times are?
Oh.
Boom. Look at you go.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Well, because what I was doing here is the NASCAR official lap time, which is set during a race, is held by Chase Briscoe, and it's 2 minutes, 13 seconds. So there's a couple of guys in here that are pretty darn close.
Yep.
I mean, they're only running 2:16s.
Yeah, and I bet you if this wasn't a fixed setup style race, that these guys would be able to make the adjustments that they need. Just keeping them into fixed setups. This is more of based on a driver basis rather than setting up the car. You know, which I know a lot of guys don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
But you know, being able to change a spring rate, they may be able to change steering ratio, things like that to assist and kind of helping out here at this road course. Would be helpful. I think it would pick up the times, but at this point, what I'm seeing is just how it's going. I mean, we can even give their best times. Right now, Earhart still has the best time out there on the track.
Sure enough.
With the 2:15. But it's right now he's making his bid for that Elite 8 here. He seems to have this really under his belt here. What can the rest of the field do? Or do you just kind of accept that 21 car just might have it here tonight?
Well, there's always the stage caution brings everybody back, so you always have a shot at it. I mean, that the big red is a killer to start off with. I was kind of reading here where it was saying Brad Keselowski said after the tire test they did, it says there's a couple of things. First off, it's uphill, which helps the car stop. So it encourages the driver to try to outbrake another driver, which is big on a restart and big on a start because all the cars are already so close together. But the second thing is it's a really wide entry, so it's almost impossible to block because there's just a lot more racetrack. So, I find that interesting that a race could almost be won or lost in that first turn.
Yeah, and it's just so many different options and where they can and can't go. It's we'll have to see. I mean, I'm honestly pretty curious to see how it unfolds here. With a lot of these drivers on the track, Alex Brube still trying to fight his way back up to the front here. John Fike right behind him. I think Fike may have been a little nervous heading into this race, but no, worth trying there. As you can see, little tire smoke coming from John Fike in the 09 Ford, but Berube has fought himself back into the top 10 after you saw that mess up he had earlier spin. Yeah, definitely coming from a top 3, top 5 podium position area. Now to 10th, this stage break is going to be more than ever.
Yeah, but that was a nice little move he did there on the chicane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see some of these guys that almost a controlled slide. We're watching how Trevor Earhart was going through about turn 8 there. and you just kind of see the sliding back and forth, just being able to have that controlled slide. I don't think these guys are looking to be as tacky on the track as they want to be, but look at Berube firing in here. Contact with the 29.
Shame.
Yeah, looked like he tried to shoot the gap there, and that just was not going to be it.
No, it was not. Oh, just totally took out. Yeah.
Yep. Well, we're going to take another look at that. Yeah, I wonder if he thought that 29 was checking up or was going to kind of slow down there a little bit. Let's see if we can try to get another angle here from the top.
Yeah, he was flying up on him.
Yeah, and I don't see the tires locking up on the 19 either, so I don't know if he was kind of expecting what he was expecting there. But talk about John Fike. Did you see that move?
Yes.
Talk about awesome.
Zip.
Yeah, I want to see if we can sit on there with John Fike here.
Yes.
Man, Lady Luck is on his side here so far for John Fike. All right, let's get rotating back up front. John Fike is now into 8th. Looks like Michael Bennett may have had a problem. Or he's heading down pit. Guys are pitting. Ooh, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Before lap 10, they're already having to come down pit.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Jacob Sirkovich, Justice Murphy is down pit. Out already. I will admit, his pit stall time may be different than most of these other guys. Right now, I think they're trying to outwit each other. Trevor Earhart, Jeremy Burns, and Grant Thorpe now 1, 2, and 3. But Earhart with over an 11-second lead over the second place, so he's feeling pretty confident here.
He did not come in?
Earhart is yet to pit.
Okay.
So far, 6th place up is yet to pit. Alex Berube has not pit. Steven Sommer has not pit.
Okay.
And I believe even Alex Kenton, if I'm not mistaken, Alex Kenton has not pit either. Keep an eye on his car here.
Yeah, good, because I like that car. I love the flames.
Oh, yeah.
That is hot looking. Oh, ha! I made a joke.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there you go. Man, oh man. Yeah, definitely. And you're starting to see kind of this clutch of cars starting to bind up here. Alves, Orlando, Bennett, and Kenton. Really the closest 4 out here on the track. And is where they're starting from, where they're starting to kind of creep in here. Is interesting to see kind of, what's the right angle for them to dive in the turn. Look how Orlando does. Grabs those rear brakes, slides up, and now Alves is into the back. Michael Bennett sees it. He's able to cross it up. And what you'll see is some guys who want to take the inside will back up the turn a lot farther to get the car to turn in there. I think Berube wanted to shoot more for an outside line. 29 hit the brake way too early before he thought it was going to happen. And that's how Berube and Brandon Richardson made contact.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers, reading the NASCAR ones, are saying that there are so many ways to do this track because of the width of the track. It's almost 50 feet wide. And so you can come in. But, I mean, these guys shift like 66 times a lap.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Oh, we have a lead change.
Yep, Trevor Earhart came into the pits. Caleb Gilbert now slides into the lead, but for how long? Right now, he hasn't pit. Parker Johnston hasn't pit, and Berube still is yet to pit. But Burns, Thorpe, and Fike have come into pit. Still sitting down pit at this point. Trevor Earhart has come back out of pit. And still has second place here. As we see him right there in front of Parker Johnston. Yeah, so interesting to see maybe a set of tires or a full tank of fuel and just get it back onto the track. He did have almost a 1.5 second longer pit stall time than Justice Murphy did.
Okay, that's shockingly fast.
Yeah, when he had the 11-second lead to begin with, and that would be what I would kind of lean on. He was 11 seconds ahead, so he was able to pit and pop back out before the guys caught up to him. He was already in the stall before anybody got there.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah, just
and also noting Robert Roeder is still sitting in the pit. He has been for a while.
Yeah, he may have gone ahead and checked out for this one. So So it looks like the 53 Chapman Environmental Services Ford is going to check out. But like we were talking about before, he may just be playing a little more conservative here because there's no sense. He has already squared himself away into the next round. So he's just kind of backing it up a little bit and kind of watching it, you know, kind of let the things come to him and let these other guys kind of duke it out here. Jeremy Burns, the Mountain Man, sitting 8th. He has pit already, but everybody really is short pitting. The only one who didn't short pit was John Fike. And John Fike, we saw him sliding up there, is now 15th.
That's painful.
Well, he may be kind of getting agitated with the car because the more these tires start wearing down, the less tacky they are, and he may just want a little more controllability heading around these turns. As you see him creeping up on Alex Kenton here. And he may actually have Alex Kenton on him because Kenton is yet to pit.
Ah. My heavens. Yeah, it's wild just seeing who. Look, I mean, Kenton just took off. I mean, he's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say he took off so fast he's out of the screen, but I realized he's also off the race course.
Well, some guys you'll see you'll try to push it a little bit. If you stare in the rearview mirror and like, oh no, I'm going too slow, it's creeping up on me, and it'll come back and bite you. So rotating up here, where's Kevin Orlando? There he is.
He's sitting in 11th right now.
Yeah, Kevin Orlando right now, yes, sitting 11th. He pit back on lap 2. So he may have actually pit early while everybody else is pitting. He doesn't have to. He'll be able to squeak it away to the end here. Let's see if we can take a look at Kevin Orlando. Kind of see how he's wheeling around the track here. Haven't seen him in a while. I believe this is a brand new rig that he's driving now.
All right. Oh,
Yep.
he has those paddle shifters.
Oh yeah, I'm envious.
Look at that.
Definitely for certain, but it's also something to kind of keep in mind and take a look at here, Stella, is you see how extended his arms are. Some of these guys choke up on the wheel, get really, really close to the wheel. That way it doesn't burn their arms out. But it seems, hey, right now, Kevin Orlando just outside the top 10 here. Seems to be fine. I know he's about 4 seconds off Richardson's back bumper. A long way to go before we get to the end of this one, but...
Oh, yeah. But we are at least coming up on the stage break. But remind me again, with this league, do they do the entire lap, or is it just when like the first person passes it?
Yes, they do it with they do the entire lap because that allows the people. So when it's stage caution at 10, they will finish lap 10, and then when the first 10 cars get by on, which would then be lap 11, that's when the caution will come out. Stage break will happen. They'll loop back around, pace car will catch up, and they'll probably be about lap 12 or 13 that they'll come in. Now we're noticing that some of these drivers, like Trevor Earhart, pit on lap 7. I would be concerned Kevin Orlando pitting on lap 2. If he's got enough fuel, can he handle the pace lap around and not run out of fuel before he ends up down pit road?
Oh, that would be so bad.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going to have to be extending it almost 8 laps, 8 or 9 laps before he can get back down pit road and try again.
Okay.
So we'll kind of we'll keep that in mind here because these guys definitely got something to think about now. So this should be, if I'm not mistaken, this should be the final lap. And then the stage break will come out. Trevor Earhart has resumed the lead for the Earhart group.
But not by
Chevrolet
much.
in the front. No, not by much. Caleb Gilbert has not pit.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. Now, tell me why Caleb Gilbert has yet to pit, but everybody else just about needed to. Alex Berube still has yet to pit. Steven Sommer has yet to pit. And Kenton and Brandon Barrier have yet to pit.
Very interesting.
Yes. Now, tell me about that.
Oh,
now,
maybe there's not a fuel issue then.
You wouldn't think. We would think on the extension, but we'll see determining on these pace laps, and we'll also keep our eye on the pace car as these guys double back up. What these guys are feeling out there, how close is that fuel window, where exactly is it narrowing down? Because at these road courses, it's hard to tell. The harder you push, obviously, the more fuel you're going to use. But it's a toss-up. Really, what happens when something bad, when something goes wrong. But check out Justice Murphy actually catching up here. 3.5 seconds now, and Justice Murphy starting to pick up the pace.
Yeah, at this point, though, if I were him, I think I would just kind of cool it, unless he's going for a stage point. But, I mean, we're fixing to clump back up again.
Yeah, well, to me, that is way out of reach here. There we go. Got the track map working. As we can
Nice.
see there, the 21. Then you have the 40 will be right behind the 21, and then you've got the 12 here of Justice Murphy. You see they've only got a couple more turns before they get to that last mark. Yeah, still hats off to all the guys who out there who are not road course racers, giving this a shot, because it's hard. This is not easy by all. Some of these guys, Earhart, Gilbert, Berube, and Murphy, these guys are making it look easy. I can't.
Yeah, because that top 4 is what, 20 seconds ahead
Oh yes.
of everybody else, minimum.
Yeah, big time. So right now, if you're somebody, let's say Grant Thorper right now, you have got to be thinking about something else here to kind of regather yourself and get a better idea on what's going on here. Let's say showing Jacob Cirkovich made that a problem back here. Whoa! Definitely didn't like the way Burns kind of checked up there.
No, he kept it under control, though.
Yep.
He's back in.
Now, I think we had
I
a
prefer to-
Brandon barrier may have gotten loose. Here he goes. But that's okay.
Yep.
I would much rather it slide out like that than head through
Yes.
the sand and slam into the tires. Because you want to talk
Yes.
about ruining the rest of your race. Stage break. Here we go. Earhart's
You know
going
all
to get
those-
this one. Caleb Gilbert in the second, and Justice Murphy sitting third.
Yeah, they didn't have all that stuff until just a couple years ago. The curbs, the rumble strips, the tire barriers. They even extended pit wall so that they could do the NASCAR at this track.
Yeah, definitely want to try and make it safer for some of these guys. I know they're redesigning the next-gen cars that have crumple zones. And I've had a bunch of drivers out there in the real world getting some massive concussions just because the car didn't crush. They more or less kind of scrambled the egg on the inside of the shell.
Yeah, I mean, they make passenger cars, with crumple zones. How could they not think that they needed to do that with a race car?
Well, I knew, I believe it was Denny Hamlin. I think he was pretty upset, kind of saying, you put us out here to run 180 miles in an experiment car. I don't like that test on my life,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, the test pilots are a different breed, and then there's the pilots that, do the commercial airlines. Yeah, if you're not signed up to be a test pilot, I think that's they should do a little bit more and make sure what it's ready for.
Yep, definitely for sure. But I'm waiting to figure out when these guys catch up with the pace car. It may be another couple miles before they catch up to them. Seeing the cautions come out, pace car will be probably popped out of 1, so Earhart's doing his best to try to run him down. The sooner he gets in the pit, the better. Because I would probably assume here that everyone will probably take tires. I don't see why you wouldn't. It would be a good idea to. Because if
Two
we
Barneys.
do what?
There's 2 Barneys waving the flag. Look.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, squirrel.
Gotcha again. Yep, there they are.
Okay.
Yeah, normally you'll see a whole bunch of them sitting around the track occasionally. If there's a wreck in the corner, that's for more of the Indy styles. Is where you'll see a couple of these, a couple extra guys in the booth. You see there's one there. And then get a key couple around the corners here.
I'll be darned.
Yep. Well, they definitely want to kind of warn anybody if there's a caution out for them to stop. But Trevor Earhart has finally caught up with the pace car. Finally. So next time around, they should be pitting. And interesting run here tonight. Definitely an interesting run. I knew this track was originally built specifically for the Formula One car.
Oh yeah.
And
They called it like the Texas Grand Prix or something like that. Yeah.
As host of the 2012 United States Grand Prix.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like Tavo Helmond and motorcycle world champion Kevin Schwantz designed this track. So then they got somebody with a little bit of money, Red McCombs, and then they got that thing built. Should have been, I think it was approved in 2010. They built this track, final approval for September of 2012. And I think not but 60 days later, the inaugural Formula One race.
Oh yeah, it was lickety split. I mean, it was like down to the wire to get it finished. But I find it interesting that several of the turns are basically copies of other tracks from around the world.
Huh. I was gonna say, I think a couple other tracks have done that, have they not? I think Road America had a couple turns that were mirrored after another wreck, another racetrack.
A little bit of a faux pas there after another wreck.
Well, I know somebody looked like they were sliding out of control there on my ticker over here. So, somebody hit the brakes and then it didn't. They are behind the Porsche pace car here. They'll be heading down pit road. Bowden out there in the chat is saying it's Fred and Barney out there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So
That's
you got a couple.
good.
Yeah, there you go. See the one right there on the right. So you got Fred, Ted, Barney. You got Skippy, everybody out there. But it's interesting to see how the rest of this race goes. I would be very concerned. That was only 10 laps here. Now probably after pit. And this caution, we got about another 20 laps to go. The back and forth that we're going to see here, we saw what you can do at halfway. We saw how pit stop times were happening. Earhart obviously had whatever it needed because he was able to make that stop and return back out there in the second, regain the lead not but a couple laps later, and then started putting the distance on. But now Justice Murphy was the opposite. He pit about a lap earlier, but then started coming on strong later in the end. He started really reeling them in. So what do we do now? Now we've kind of figured out some guys like pitting early, other guys have pit much later. So I'm interested to see fuel-wise or tire-wise if these guys notice, if this car's just sliding around too much, I need enough. Let's stop for a set of tires. I wouldn't think so. Some of these guys may do the Parker Johnston move. They may not take tires at all.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking is, I know you've explained to me that these guys like to sit in pits to before qualifying to get rid of a little gasoline for weight purposes. And I'm thinking to myself, what about these guys making sure that they always have a full tank of gas for weight purposes?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. I mean, I can't rule that out. Like, at all. There's no reason why that wouldn't make sense. I just wouldn't want to have to pit more than I had to at this road course.
These are the closest pits I've ever seen. 48's in the...
Yeah, definitely a smaller pit stalls here.
Something. I mean, they were like bumper to bumper.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get those formula cars, they're a little shorter, and now you put a full-size car in there. That switches it up a little bit. Fast pit stall times for just about everybody. Caleb Gilbert had a longer pit stall time. He took tires. But the rest of the field just about didn't. So, fueling goes. Earhart, Murphy, Thorpe, Johnston, Sirkovich, Brandon Richardson, John Fike, and Michael Bennett. Fuel only. The rest of the field is a 14 seconds or more. Caleb Gilbert, Burns, Berube, Orlando, Sommer, Alves, and Kenton. And I can't blame them. I would, to me, at this point in the race, if I was already kind of that 10th on back, tires. There's no sense in not doing it because that may come into play later. We saw how that paid Justice Murphy off at the Road America. He did not want to make that happen again. So, obviously, no tires for him, but he's definitely trying to keep up with Trevor Earhart. But we'll keep in mind, 8-second pit stall time for Justice Murphy here, and maybe we can... Actually, let's see if we can have a little chat here with Justice. Let's see if I can grab him here and see kind of how this one goes. I know he's definitely going to be very, very careful as we pull him into the booth here. Let's see if we can go ahead and grab Justice Murphy. Justice, got a copy on me?
Got a copy for you, Patrick. What's up, buddy?
Awesome, man. Dude, what a race this was. You started coming on hot later in that section, in that first stage. We finding out a little more about the track here tonight?
Yeah, figuring it out. It's right now is about the coolest it's been in any session that we've practiced this week. So this will be a whole different race these last 20 laps. It'll be interesting.
All right. Well, Trevor Earhart was definitely putting some distance onto the field. Are you finding out a soft spot in his game yet?
No, I know I was catching him there at the last couple laps, but I don't know if that's because he was taking it easy for the stage. But it doesn't really matter, really, because you're not going to take tires at any point. So I think he'll be pushing a little harder once we get these brakes cooled down a little bit.
All right, well, definitely taking a peek at those pit stall times, and you talking about tires. Trevor Earhart had a 6-second pit stall time, yet you had an 8.5-second pit stall time. Did we take any tires at all?
No tires at all. He took a little more fuel when we pitted before the stage break, so he filled it all the way up. I only took like 2 gallons, so I had to take more right there at the stage. But nothing too crazy. Like I said, hopefully we can get out here, get the 2 of us running, get the clean pit stop, and then have a nice clean race to the end. I know Rob may be in chat. He disconnected from the race. He requested a Ross Chastain-like finish, so hopefully we can give him something exciting.
Bowden's out there saying he's working on some admin things.
Yeah, we'll see what we got here, though. We'll try to get in there and see if we can compete with him a little bit.
Alrighty, well, I will poke you just one last time before we go. Fuel window on these cars. I know some guys were pitting earlier, some pit much later. What's the requirement? I mean, how long can you really make it here?
So I think if you really push it, you probably could go like 11 laps and pit coming to the 12th. It appears that's what happened with a couple of those guys like Caleb and Berube. Both lasted the whole stage on fuel, but they were about, on average, 2 seconds off pace of me and Trevor. So me and Trevor are going to use a little more. So I think our maximum is probably 10.5 to 11 for me and Trevor. Everybody else may be able to get it to 11.5 or 12.
So we're looking at a solid green flag stop, and you're going to be aiming somewhere in the middle.
That is correct. To split the rest of the race basically dead in half and go out there and run your best times.
All right, Justice. Well, seeing how you're racing tonight is looking pretty solid for a podium finish, so I will catch up with you later, and we'll talk all about bugs after that.
Yes, sir. Hope to see you at the end of the race.
All right. Thank you, Justice. All right, Stella, that is going to do it for Justice Murphy. Had a little chat with him here in the race. And now that I mentioned kind of mentioned all about bugs, why don't you tell me all about bugs? Where are these guys located? What do they do? I mean, obviously it's got to be something about bugs, right?
I think so. They are actually a pest control and termite control. They've been doing it in the Sevierville, Tennessee area since 2012. Their top priority is always to provide effective pest and termite control solutions for residential or commercial properties. There's Mike Tag, All About Bugs on his hood. So depending on your needs, All About Bugs Tennessee, pest control experts can create any kind of a protection plan that guarantees pest protection 365 days a year. Give them a call, touch base with them on the website. A free pest control quote or inspection is just a call away, and you'll find that their family-owned operation is friendly and professional. So, All About Bugs Tennessee, your 5-star family-owned pest control and termite experts. Like they say, if bugs are bugging you, you should be bugging us. AllAboutBugsTN.com.
All right. I like that. All right, well, the only thing bugging Justice Murphy right now is Trevor Earhart leading most of this race. So he's going to be trying one heck of a job to get that Earhart Group Chevrolet behind him and get his Chevy into the front. Couple more rounds here before we head to the line. Definitely going to be squeezing it here. As I say, that. I was wondering if they were going to shorten these pace laps here, but apparently we're going to run it around one more time.
Now, does Brandon Barrier get a lucky dog on a road course?
Yeah, definitely. It's. I would say he should, but I don't know if he ended up down and out here.
Yeah, I just see him one lap down. I didn't know whether he was going to try to, run the whole thing real quick and catch up, or whether they don't do that on roads.
They should do it on roads. I believe he may have gotten the lucky dog. I don't know if he was more than one lap down. The wave around would have already happened by that point.
I would think.
In the run. Yep. So it's interesting to kind of poke out there as well. I do want to mention some of the other sponsors for the Racing Revolution: Ultimate Siding and Gutters, Butt Kicker, Field which you've been missing. They definitely make some good stuff out there as well. and the Chapman Environmental Services. They're looking, I believe, if I'm not if my memory serves me right here, I am fairly certain that they are re-signing with the Racing Revolution League for Season 3. I guarantee these drivers got to be super excited about that. I see them on each and every one of the cars out here, and especially on that top banner, for them to kind of get a good, be able to get their product out there. And we've heard about them before. We'll cut to commercial, but not until we get back under green here.
I was going to say, you could tell everybody about the little... Oh. Now, how do you run off the course on a caution lap?
He may be trying something or kind of wigging out there just a little bit.
Okay. About the pretty blue banners that are up there that say Chapman in the corner. On the cars?
Yeah.
Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, you can if you wish. Everybody in that light blue, we see Earhart being one of them, Justice Murphy, Grant Thorpe, and Parker Johnson, really your top four here. These guys are all in the playoff running. And these are the ones running for those playoff points. So we'll keep that in mind. Like I said, let's see if we can find, let's see, where's Nick Alves? There's Nick Alves. He's got a blue one. Berube next to him has one. Alex Kenton has one back here. So everybody with that light blue banner in the front, that's going to be where they want to be. Justice Murphy trying to make a jump here on that on the green flag. Let's get ready. Here we go. Trevor Earhart takes off back under green flag here at the Circuit of the Americas.
Takes off.
Yeah, now we're going to take a peek here. Remember that treacherous turn 1. This is where everybody tries to squeeze. Oh, man. And Murphy not wanting that outside line. I can't blame him. There's nowhere to go. But now he's got to figure out how to get back in the middle. And Murphy back down to 4th out of when he was originally in 2nd. So now
he's got whole new term on outside line.
Yeah, well, he definitely tried to run it in there deep, unable to slow it down. But sometimes you'll notice that if you're worried about somebody rear-ending you. If Justice Murphy had backed that turn up, somebody may have rearranged the back end of his car, and that that would have done it. But that turn worked out really well for Brandon Richardson as he's finally getting the top 5 run here right behind Justice.
Well, and Grant Thorpe.
Oh man!
Oh.
Yeah, Parker Johnson slips coming out of that turn, and now he is falling all the way back down to 12th. He needed a good showing here tonight not to be eliminated. Brandon Richardson's trying to make that play. Contact.
No.
Oh, Jeremy Burns got a mouthful. Now they're crushing each other. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's go back to that replay here from the top end.
And the fun begins.
Oof. Yeah, it looked like Jeremy Burns trying to get Nick Alves. Poor guy. Dude.
Dang.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy crap. That's a bummer right there. So Nick Alves, he's got to be frustrated now. Kind of getting hammered around here. Still tire smoke coming off a bunch of cars here. Jeremy Burns will have some damage to the front end of his race car. Long way to go to get back to the front here. Taking a look at Nick Alves. Let's see how Nick Alves is doing. Let's see kind of the difference in the way these guys are driving up there. Now remember what I was saying about Kevin Orlando and his extended arms. Look how close Nick Alves is to it. Oh, Richardson's around.
My heavens.
Yeah, Nick Alves may be kind of doing the long haul. He's much closer to the wheel. Now, I won't joke about his 5-foot appearance, but we'll... But Alves very concentrated right now, up 3 positions. Now, once again, consistently in the top 10. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened to Brandon Richardson, because we was looking at Nick Alves when it happened. Here's Fike. Oh!
All by himself. Nice.
Yep, get back to it. Out there in the chat, Rob says it's okay. I can joke about his 5-foot appearance.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. That may be something. I know, like I said, I think Rader's still sitting this one out. I think he is taking that vehicle to the garage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't want to risk any of that. Blake Cook, don't believe he took the track here tonight. And Brandon Berry will be our only guy a lap down here so far. Berube, even the woes continue for him here. Down to 15th. And really, your road course guys are going to be the ones that capitalize here, now, and today. What next week brings is the mix-up. We thought Michigan, anybody could win it. Rader showed he was the man to do it. This week here at COTA, now your road course guys. Earhart, Thorpe, Murphy, Gourlane, these Parker Johnson, these guys, this is their chance. Next week, we go to we go to Bristol. We're gonna send these guys into the concrete mixing bowl and hopefully deem a new winner to slide into the next round. And to me, if you're one of those guys on the cutoff line, let's say Orlando, Kenton, Thorpe, and Richardson, those 4 guys, if they can come away with a win or a top 5 there, that may completely change it. And we'll hopefully at the end of the broadcast next Wednesday behind Bristol, we'll talk about who heads into the Elite 8, because I think it's going to be a nail-biter. As short of a track as that is, nowhere to go, that's going to be some serious pushing around. Where can these guys end up, and how, if you did terrible in Michigan, you did terrible here, Bristol will be your last chance to really kind of pull out of that one.
Yeah, a nail biter. We could use a nail biter on the next one.
Bowden says he can't wait to see the race in the bathtub. Yeah, it is definitely short there. We'll talk about a little bit of the banking fiasco that they had there. They thought, I think the banking was different than what they said it was at Bristol. Yeah, we'll talk about that that next round. But I think we got some cluster of cars back here, kind of getting spun up. I think John Fike may have been in one.
Fike's been down in the pits for a little bit.
Yeah, I think something just happened. Lap 16. Something happened to Fike. Let's see if we can find him here. Uh-oh, there he is. Let's see if we can kind of see how this played out here.
I was going to say, did he turn around and go in the wall again?
Yeah, let me see if I can actually rewind this fancy DNC deal we got here from the top. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah, they see the bump. Tires came off the ground, spun him around. Clink. All right, no broken toe link here. Yeah, now with the grass on the tires, it's going to send him around again. Man, this is just It's hard. It's hard. It's hard.
Look at that. Did you see that tower? That's a pretty cool tower.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's the tallest one they've got here, isn't it?
Well, it's like an observation tower. It's like 250 feet tall. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think actually here in my notes. Yeah, 251 tall feet observation tower. And I know the stands around here, they're kind of weird. I don't know where exactly they are, and they move them around a bunch here.
They do. They're actually made in kits so that they can put them where they're best needed, kind of thing, because they have concerts and all kinds of stuff. But the main grandstands, I think, hold about 9,000 people, and they're right there, needless to say, by the start-finish line. But they have all kinds of stuff, the bleachers and grandstands and stuff all around the place. They can get like 117,000 people here.
Oh, wow. There's definitely plenty of area to watch them. It's really where is the best place. I'm sure it's always sold out in Turn 1, which Trevor Earhart is now reaching. 7.5 seconds over top of Justice Murphy right now. If Earhart wins this, which that would be okay, he'd lock himself in the 8. This still works out really well for Justice Murphy. He's 13 points above cutoff. That'll help him I think it'll get him a foot up on Caleb Gilbert, who's sitting 14 points. So they're only separated by 1 point apiece here.
Wow.
Heading into this one, and then Bristol shouldn't be that tight. I'm really concerned about, from the Jeremy Burns, Kevin Orlando, Alex Kenton, Grant Thorpe, and Brandon Richardson. Those guys are really in that shuffle spot of within 12 points. So out there in the chat, Elites Reviews, you spin me right round. Yeah, it looked like it looked like John Fike may have had enough here for tonight. I think Fike may have taken it to the pit here, and he may be wheeling that thing back to the garage. But really, hats off to him for giving this a try. It's not easy by any means here. I know Brandon Barriers, he's still battling out there in the back.
Yeah. Watching these guys on camera, I mean, at this point, it's not just, the little left turns. I mean, you got 11 lefts and 9 rights and all that. But heck, you could almost call it aerobics.
Definitely pushing their way around here. Let's see if we can take a look. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Grant Thorpe. I think we've got him here tonight. So definitely interesting to see him kind of wheeling around here. Yep, looks like he got everything squared away in his room ready for this round here tonight. And Grant Thorpe, you know, I got to give it to him. Up to
He's
third.
up in third.
Yeah, up to third right now. Now, he is outside that cutoff line. As long as he can place ahead of Kenton here, which Kenton right now is sitting 12th. If Grant Thorpe can do pretty well here, these guys might actually switch. And Grant Thorpe will be above the line heading into Bristol. But Bristol, like I said, I think it's going to be so tough getting on that short track there. That's just going to absolutely kind of switch it up. But remember what we were talking about here? You see how he was sliding through that turn?
Yeah.
Controlled slide. So that is
Okay.
exactly it's kind of what he wanted to do. It was a controlled slide. He was able to slow it down and then continue on here. But Grant Thorpe up 2 positions, and right now all Chevrolets in the top 5. Well, there we go. Kevin Orlando now slid his forward. Now in the 4th here as he's battled alongside Parker Johnson down the front stretch.
I was
Now-
going to say, Parker Johnson has worked his way back up here.
Yep,
I mean,
here
he
we go.
was.
Hold on. Sorry, there's that turn 1. You saw
Nope.
Parker Johnson take it wide. Kevin Orlando one middle, and Caleb Gilbert one farther on the inside. So the battle right now here back and forth. Kevin Orlando, 11 positions up, trying to find the hole in Parker Johnson's game here. No can do. Parker Johnson looks like he's starting to put the distance on the 27. Squeezing it together here. Yeah, and this, you see how it's just switching back and forth, back and forth. You see the
Yeah.
body roll here. Just really where
Yeah.
to go. But Kevin Orlando, excellent setup for that turn. Now reels in the 48 and almost makes contact. Good view here by our Chase Chopper cam here, rolling along with Kevin Orlando here. Gets a good launch on the right before the back chute here. Let's go to another hairpin, squeeze it in a little tighter. But you were talking earlier about driving lines. Kevin Orlando backed up that one turn and was able to fire through a lot faster than the rest of the drivers out here. So Kevin Orlando was able, you know, just kind of get that aim and then launch through and away he went.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what a lot of the NASCAR drivers are saying. Chung, there you go. We got a pass.
Yep. So slow and steady is winning the race right now for Kevin Orlando. Now Kevin Orlando's sitting 7th in points, only 6 above that line. He's got to actually maintain here. I don't think he'll catch Grant Thorpe. You know, I think
No, but
Yeah, he's
I
about-
think Parker's not going to let him
Yeah, there's
to
about
keep that position either.
9 seconds off that lead, off the next guy. So right now, this clump of guys, obviously you want to be higher up there. Parker Johnson says 4th is his. Caleb Gilbert sitting 6th, and Jeremy Burns is down 3 positions here in this race. Now down to 7th.
Stay on the black, guys. Stay on the black.
Well,
I
they're
know the
using
red,
up
white,
all
and
the-
blue is nice, but
They're trying to use up all the track that they can. Definitely, if you're able to take it wider, you can carry the speed through rather than making the turn so sharp, and that just puts more pressure on those tires. So still remaining in there. Looks like Caleb Gilbert got the best of Jeremy Burns heading down the front stretch here, and now we head for the dreaded turn 1. Let's see if we can get back in that view here from the top. Let's see the squeeze. Oh, Parker Johnson locks it up.
locks it. Yep.
Yep, Orlando, good job there. Caleb Gilbert, we see him reel it in a lot closer here. And now we're back on top. Jeremy Burns now to 6th. Still in front of Caleb Gilbert. He's looking around Kevin Orlando. Kevin Orlando might get a little bumper rearrangement here. As we saw before, the Mountain Man didn't like what happened before earlier in the race. Let's see if he can keep it a little cleaner here as we progress. Raider out there in the chat says he saw Grant Thorpe and now he knows he's not the only pink collared shirt guy. Very nice.
Okay.
Oh man, yeah. What we should do is we should probably have our season 1 champ down here in the broadcast.
Yes.
To kind of see what Raider can do and see if he's available to hang out with us here today. Seeing he's checked out. Speaking of checking out, Kevin Orlando, look out!
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Orlando now out of the top 5, dropped to 6th, and Jeremy Burns in a wild move here slid himself into the top 5. Parker Johnson sitting 4th and is now trying to scurry to get away. Yeah, taking a look back, that's where Jeremy Burns is, way back there. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, and it's just starting to heat up. Things are getting crazy, people moving around.
I think I'd like to be where Grant Thorpe is. He's 7 seconds away from this one. He's 8 seconds away from that one. He's just running his own race right in the middle.
Yeah. Well, you know, I would say something also to Justice Murphy out there. I think he's starting to feel the way Trevor Earhart did. at the Daytona Roval. You know, it's just Earhart got so close, and then just watched Justice drive off. I mean, just left him. It was some deal is with that section. Now, I will admit, Trevor Earhart, whatever it is in Section 2, he's doing a lot different than everybody else. He doesn't have the fastest time there, but even last lap, Section 2 was as fast as he's run this race. So he
See, and at the Roval, it was the same thing, but Murphy had that one section where he just rocked it every time he went around, and he'd gain like 3/10.
Yep. All right. We got a couple of guys who, let's see if we can go through a little bit of a montage here. I know it said Alex Berube had some trouble back on lap 19. Whoop! There he goes.
Oh,
got a little
Sirkovich
loose.
caught the end.
Yep, Sirkovich popped him. Yep, trying to get back on track. And I think our wonderful Mr. Nick Alves, I think he caught one here as well. Let's see if we can take Brandon Richardson. Boink.
Yep.
Oh, no!
Oh, I got a twofer.
Returns back. Boy, that drops Nick Alves all the way down to 14th. Berube passes him there, so a lot of shuffling back and forth here. On to the deal. Robinson out there saying 4 laps till the green flag stops. Guessing everybody does fuel only, maybe right. Matt, I would probably assume these guys are not taking tires at all. I've heard word through the grapevine that Parker Johnson and even Justice Murphy at Road America found that taking tires was actually more detrimental to the car because you had to wait for your new tires to heat up. And by the time they got 3 or 4 laps out here at the road course, they finally started tacking up, and the amount of speed these guys lost, they just couldn't recover. So I would probably assume mostly fuel out of all the drivers here. No one has pit just yet. Now, I'm still kind of waiting for that area. How long do they stretch it? How far do they go? And there's still that possibility. Whether they do, they don't, and kind of the different angle here. Grant Thorpe, to me, he is the closest one still within striking range. He's starting to reel in Justice Murphy. He's only about 4.5 seconds off of him. So it's getting pretty close. So the battle for really second and third could heat up after a pit stall. You know, after that pit stall time, what happens from here on out here at the Circuit of the Americas? One of these road courses, it's hard to find a good spot to be here, Stella, is really where is the action? I'm taking a look back here at Steven Sommer. Right now, 9th place. Haven't really talked about him at all here tonight. Here he is, now top 10. So he's kind of waited it out a little bit. He waited for, Richardson, Berube, and Alves. They made mistakes here. And that's kind of what's happening so far. But Sirkovich, there we go. Yeah, you see how some guys are just taking these turns just a little bit differently. But fastest time on the track for Section 2. We talked about Earhart having the fastest in Section 2. Jeremy Burns, the Mountain Man, with a 31:31 in Section 2. So he is on the move right now, starting to pick up pace.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll watch out here. Right now, his last lap time was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Let's see if I can get our last lap times up there. You see Burns now starting to pick up the pace here on Parker Johnston. Johnston watching him creep up behind him here and just losing precious time to that number 9 Chevrolet for Team Disconnect.
Yeah, I'm interested though that Earhart's running a 2:17, which is the slowest of those top 5. I mean, even Berube's hustling at 2:16 to get back up. But does that mean they're going to reel him in?
Maybe. The way I look at it here, Earhart has a cushion. He has a 6-second cushion before Justice can even reach out and touch him. So he may be actually backing this up a little bit. Let's conserve these tires because I don't want to put tires on. Let's conserve these tires, and then we'll battle our way back to the front here. But if I'm not mistaken, from our fancy track map here, I believe Trevor Earhart is about to run into some lap traffic here. Brandon Barry is going to be getting a little bit of it. I know he's been on a hiatus here, just a little bit here in the Racing Revolution League, but Barrier is down pit. All right.
Yes.
Barrier's going to head down pit, and looks like Trevor Earhart will continue to cruise as he continues his way. Justice Murphy, a lot faster here in the final section, 55.89. So Justice trying to pick up some pace here. You see he's made up almost 0.2 of a second, but here's the turn that determines it all. Half a second shaved off. So Trevor Earhart kind of backing it up here a little bit. Boy, oh boy, did you see the smoke coming around that turn? Interesting to see. You look at Justice Murphy starting to really shave some time off here.
How do they not need tires when they lock them up so often?
It depends how much flat spotting, how hot they do get them. These cars, they do simulate brake fade. The more they start using the brakes, now the brakes aren't working. They're starting to lock up. They're getting worse, and things like that.
Okay, so you know someone's knocking at my door. There's somebody trying to get in the booth to say hi.
Oh, really? All right, well, we'll grab him here in just a second. I want to make sure. It's showing Grant Thorpe may have had a little bit of trouble out here. We see he's falling off pace here a little bit. Oh, right there. Quick recovery, though. Sand goes ahead and chops it down, slows him down, moving us to Steven Sommer in the 81 Chevrolet. Let's see how he does. Oh, wow, yeah, you can see the entry. Got in there way too high.
Oh.
Way too
That's
high.
the way to avoid
get
it.
back on there. All right, I'm not mistaken. I believe we have a visitor here, Robert Roeder in the 53. I would say you're a visitor, but not always. You seem to be in here quite often, but not tonight. Talk to me about the track here.
Yeah, a little just different circumstances tonight, Patrick. It's a crazy hot track tonight, so these guys are. I mean, I've never driven on a track as difficult as this, honestly. 90 degrees and really difficult course anyway, so I mean these guys are fighting everything. I know we've seen some guys lose control tonight, and I'm just surprised we haven't seen more, honestly. It's really that difficult. So shout out to everybody tonight for putting on a good race and for mostly keeping it on track, keeping it friendly. Is pretty cool to see.
Well, it's definitely a mix up here, Robert, is seeing how this road course kind of plays out into the schedule. I know season 3 is still in the drawings, but are we going to see this return next season?
Yeah, Coda will be here next season. Not sure it's been announced outside of the league Discord, but we will be running the full 2023 season next season. So Coda is on the schedule, so we'll be there. Same week that Coda is, 3 days after the Coda race. We'll be here again, hopefully with better track conditions that allow for some tighter racing. But I mean, regardless, it's super impressive what guys are doing tonight, man. I see you got Grant on the screen here, and he's killing it. Really proud of Grant tonight, P3, and I don't think he's really been in much drama. You showed him off course there a second ago, but he's come a long way in this league too. He's one of my favorite guys in this league because he has such a great attitude. He's a great guy. He really is, and he's gotten a lot better over the course of the last year and a half or so, and to the point where he's competing for championships at this point. And I just love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Oh yeah, well the fuel calculator is below that cutoff line for the points system here. Really, a solid top 3 would work out really, really well for him here to see if he can kind of bump Kenton out and get himself in. It just goes to show here, Rob, that the wins throughout the year is why it's so important to have that boost forward. You know, I know you're top of the chart once again, but you're 50 points above cutoff line here. I mean, I think you've pretty much secured the final 4. Earhart's looking to do just the same as he's still leading it, but Murphy's cutting his lead almost in half at this point, down to 4 seconds. So really, these guys here, I mean, you got a lot of competition heading into Bristol and even races after that.
Yeah, the goal for Bristol is to win a stage or win the race so I can build that gap a little bit larger like you talked about. We do have Talladega in the next round, and anything can happen there. Trevor's coming to pit road here, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I believe Justice is going to follow him down here. So, sorry to interrupt myself, but let's see what these pit times look like. Justice had run him down a couple of seconds there.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on it here. I'm watching, and I was talking to them earlier, and they're saying it's kind of a no-go. There's not going to be tires getting thrown on, but we'll kind of keep an eye here and see if it's fuel or if it's just tires. Do they take just enough fuel? Do they take none at all? What happens here? Trevor Earhart off the line, away he goes. Justice Murphy, he goes. So, boy, it's just going to be tight and really kind of accelerating to get out of there to make sure you don't get lost. I mean, Justice Murphy did cut it down to 4 seconds, but the woes continue. He's just got to figure out how to keep up with him at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to take tires in this race. It's something about this car and the tires tire heat matters a bit, but the tire wear at the road courses just isn't there. It's too hard. So I don't think Justice or Trevor have taken tires all race. So I don't expect them to take it now. But I actually thought that Justice seemed a little bit slow during that pit cycle there, but it doesn't look like he's lost any time at all.
Yeah, his pit stall time was only 0.2 slower than Trevor Earhart's. So I don't know if Justice took just a hair more fuel to see if he could to see if we can squeak him by. Because we ended up talking to Justice, and that's what he was saying is Earhart took a little less fuel, and that's why Justice was Justice was able to actually start losing him there at that point. Whether it switches up here with only 10 left to go, that may still to be determined. But they're leaving Grant Thorpe in the dust here. Grant Thorpe has now tacked on almost another 6 seconds onto the loss here. So really right now the battle for the lead may or may not happen here. Justice Murphy's going to have to turn up the heat if he wants to catch up to Trevor, or is Trevor sandbagging it? I mean, you've been out there on the track with him, Robert, so tell me, what are we looking at here?
Well, there's no chance that Trevor is doing anything except running qualifying laps right now. I think we all knew that this would come down probably to Trevor and Justice. They've spent the most time practicing this week. They're also the 2 best guys in the league when it comes to road courses. I like to pretend sometimes like I can compete, but these 2 guys are just on another level once we get to those courses. And I mean, even Grant is one of the best guys in the league at this, and you see he's 20 seconds behind right now. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to a mistake. You know, if Justice can keep eating into the lead right now like he is, then it's going to put a lot of pressure on Trevor and Buddy. Can either one of them keep it together for 9 more laps? Both of them keep it together for 9 more laps? They both make a mistake? At some point, someone's going to try to get a little bit too much, and that's what's going to determine the end of this race, I think.
Yeah, well, it's definitely possible. I agree with you. You know, just somebody pushing just a little extra. But it's, I keep throwing this back to, since we don't do so few road courses, this is exactly what we saw at Road America. As you see, Justice almost had this thing on a line, and Parker Johnson, just with a quick pit stall time, was able to make the upset. Trevor Earhart, maybe that extra 0.2 may be what wins him the race here. But Justice Murphy just shaved off half a second, and now he's starting to reel him in. But
look, if there's one thing I know about Justice Murphy is that if he's 0.2 away from the victory, he's winning the race. He's not just if he gets that close, then Trevor's probably not finishing in the top 5. So if he gets that close, it's going to get interesting for sure.
Earhart's fixing to come up on some lap traffic, so Justice may have an opportunity to get a little closer.
Yeah, definitely jam them up. I would assume you would probably want to pass them on the straightaway, because if you're getting caught behind them on a turn, it's just gonna it's really gonna be hateful here. I mean, I don't know at this point. Right now, I see he is catching up. I think Brandon Barrier will be the guy he's gonna catch up with here in the 58 machine. Yeah, but it shouldn't be too bad. I know Brandon, he got out of the way and actually head down pit, I think, because he saw that 21 Chevrolet catching up to him. But nothing but Chevrolets here for the top 5. Earhart, Murphy, Thorpe, Burns, and Johnston right now. Staying solid at this point. I don't know if Justice got anything for him. Still another couple tenths shaved off here. Murphy is on the move at this point. I would like to see it boil down the last couple of laps. These guys, kind of dooring each other to give it a shot toward the end.
I'd love nothing more. Oh, that's going to hurt Trevor bad. He had to check up really big there. Not sure where Brandon was going to go. And that's going to hurt his speed all the way down the straightaway. Let's see how much time at the line. It looks like Justice picked up half a second, or 0.7 of a second that lap. If you extrapolate that out, if that happens every lap, Justice will be there for the win of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like it. So far, so good. But each time that turn 1, he's got something going on with turn 1 there. Justice Murphy is a lot faster, about half a second faster than Trevor Earhart in section 4. But Earhart is about 0.7 faster in section 3. So we're kind of shuffling around here a little bit, just timing wise, of where these guys, were kind of weighing each other and battling it out here. Jeremy Burns, talk about somebody out here as well. Here, Rob, he's up to now 4th. He's 6th in the points. He's still pretty comfortable, but man, if he has a bad showing at Bristol, he could get bumped really quick.
He could, but I mean, I gotta shout out Jeremy tonight too, because I know 4th place isn't a very sexy position. We don't talk about it a whole lot, but he's not known as the top tier road course racer guy here in this league, but I know he's been putting in a lot of practice with 24 hours of Daytona. I know he enjoys road racing, and to see him 4th doesn't really surprise me, although it may surprise some. He's super talented at this stuff, man. He's definitely one of the hottest guys for next season that people are trying to get on a team. I'm working on that myself. We'll see what happens, but he's going places for sure. And this type of racing really demonstrates his talent.
Oh, yeah. Definitely when we look back and forth, between next season and this season, what you guys have planned, kind of everybody weighing their options, starting teams, doing. I've been telling all the viewers out there, these things are still in the works. You guys are still playing around with the schedule, haven't 100% done it yet, but it's still in the works. We still got a few things you got to get hammered out. Sponsorships get nailed down, and now with the new team building and kind of a different way to play it. You almost want a road course guy, you want a super speedway guy, you want a short track guy, and then you need an all-rounder. So
I want everyone to be an all-rounder. It's hard to come by, but that's always the goal, right? So I know that's kind of a pipe dream, but I mean there's so many talented guys in this league. It's hard to go wrong, really.
Yeah, but an all-rounder, Jeremy Burns has been pretty. He's pretty good no matter where I've seen him yet so far. I think when he gets tangled up in a wreck is where we see his nights get ruined immediately. But, he's fast on the super speedways. I mean, we saw him win at Daytona after that massive pileup. Somehow he was able to squeak through.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, not gonna lie.
Probably cool for him. If I'm mistaken, I believe you were upside down facing the rest of the field.
Oh.
I was. Thanks for bringing that up, Patrick. We appreciate that.
Would you like some more salt?
Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, Jeremy Burns is able to squeak that out. But what I would love to see is Nick Alves come from nowhere and win one of these playoff races. I would love to see that. I like him pull one out at Talladega and
I'm not
secure
even
himself
sure,
in the
Patrick. I'm not even sure I would say it's out of nowhere. Nick Alves is probably the most underrated driver in this league. Nick had a strong streak of top 6 finishes, and it's been basically a meme in the league. With how many 6th place finishes he had with no top 5s. But the thing is that he's put on a string of really good finishes lately, and on top of that, if you average out the top finishes in the league. Ignore me. I believe I'm number 1 right now. Nick Alves is number 2. Best average finish in the entire league.
Yes.
Huh.
And so he hasn't had that breakthrough moment where he's won a race yet this season. But I think a lot of that's just due to circumstance. He's had a lot of pace at a lot of tracks. He's been one unfortunate circumstance not happening to him away from winning races. He could have won Atlanta. He could have won Talladega. I believe I wrecked him there. It was my fault. Just trying to help him. He's had opportunities.
Can I avoid that kind of help?
Yeah. Well, sometimes when you try to help, you help a little too much. But I mean, he's 2nd best average finish in the league and doesn't get the respect of the guy who has the 2nd best average finish in the league. I expect him to be in the Final Four. And I think that's kind of a hot take, but I think it's just because people aren't looking at the stats.
Yeah, he's definitely back and forth. Whether he can place in a solid position. I just don't know where and when he can make that breakthrough. I think if he had known Jeremy Burns wasn't there, he'd have won Daytona. And I think he choked up because I think he was so shocked he made it through that wreck and survived the one at Daytona. That was his chance.
He coasted down into the finish line and he zapped past him.
I'll tell you who wasn't coasting was Alex Kenton. He made it through there as well, and he did everything he could to hammer down. Yeah. So I was going to say, Stella, do you have a solid pick here? I mean, what driver's kind of standing out to you?
Well, needless to say, Justice is always a top finisher on these road courses. But are you talking playoff-wise?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of what we're looking at here, throughout the season to this point. I mean, you can even do that.
Well, needless to say, I think mathematics-wise, Robert's kind of locked it in. But after that, I don't know. Where are we? I haven't looked at the standings. I just am kind of a current race person. Let me see real quick if I can find the standings.
Yeah, so you see how close that cutoff is getting there, and
Wow.
I may try to build something for the next round to kind of figure out how tight this is getting. Speaking of tight, Justice Murphy's car may have not loosened up the way he wanted to. Justice Murphy's losing a lot of time here.
Oh.
Yeah, big time.
He's down to almost 6 seconds.
Yeah, he's fallen way
He
off
lost a
pace
second
here.
there in that last sector. I'm not sure. It looks like maybe something happened through the final sector there for him.
Yep.
Not sure if maybe he went off.
Uh-oh. Says we may have had a problem out here with Kevin Orlando.
I saw him pulled over to the right side of the track here. Not sure. He's going to pull across and get out of the way here off to the right.
Huh.
Not sure if he had maybe he's having an issue. Hardware issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like he's pulled
Off to the pit. Yep.
Kevin Orlando may be down and out here for that one.
He was working with some new equipment too, so hopefully nothing went wrong with that, but that is a possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was taking a peek earlier, and I saw him kind of messing with something on the right. I don't know if he's dealing with connection, but he is working with a new sim rig, man. I'm pretty excited to hear about that. A lot of guys, the way you guys have built this league here, Rob, you and all the admins out here, everybody's wanting to upgrade. Everybody's starting to, I got to get better. And really, the way you guys do the rules here and the format that you guys do it, I think a lot of people are finding, this is worth investing in. I mean, even Tay McDonald. Tay McDonald's out there with a brand new direct drive wheel. I think some of these guys have looked at butt kicker systems to try to see if they could get that edge to figure out how to pick up some a different pace here at the track. And it's interesting to see is what people are willing to invest in and how deep they're getting into this.
Yeah, well, I'm always excited to hear that people are so motivated that they're willing to go and spend money on trying to find an edge. And butt kicker is a great way to do that. Corporate sponsor plug, but also real life experience plug too. They're great, but it's really humbling. We started from practically nothing just a year ago, and to see what it's become is fantastic. And to see all the guys who are spending time here and effort. I mean, coming to this track and running in these conditions is really tough. And a lot of guys have spent hours this week to try to hone this in and figure this out. And we're really glad that we can provide that for some people as Sirkovich goes off.
I think sometimes it gets me is I cue in just as somebody's messing up. Like I haven't shown
Sirkovich.
Of
yours.
I haven't shown Sirkovich much all night here, and there we go. He slides right off the track there.
That turn looked like the New Orleans Saints season.
Oh.
It was not great. Oh, we got another one locked up down here.
Yeah, I think
Bennett.
Yeah, I think
And
Bennett
actually,
has trouble
it looks like Earhart may have had a small mistake and lost about a second and a half here.
Yes, I was showing him as an off track, but nothing, not too bad here. But boy, he did lose almost 2 seconds off that.
Any chance we go back and see what happened?
Do.
Which corner it happened to?
We have the best producer in the world.
Oh, man,
I'm sure he could.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I have to double check and make sure if he did or did not hop off road here. I'm not showing anything where he ended up off road because if it was bad enough, it'd ping me. I got nothing. I got nothing here for it.
A fair amount of time. This is the closest that Justice has been in a while here. It's gonna light a fire under Justice. Trevor's probably a little bit nervous, like, right before that, he's 5.5 seconds ahead. He's thinking, and I've been here, so I know. He's thinking, it's all good. All I have to do is just not make a mistake. Everything's going to be fine. And then
As
you
soon
make
as you
a
say
mistake,
that.
and then you realize, everything's not fine. This 4-second lead is actually somewhat fragile. And if you're Justice, you're thinking, oh, well, this race is over unless he really messes up. And he makes that mistake, and you're reinvigorated. Okay, I'm back in, and I still have a chance at this. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, coming up on 3 laps to go. It's not a lot of time, but again, I mean, you're one mistake away from being door to door for the race win at this point. You're being 4 seconds apart.
And even with 3 laps here, we're looking at 60 turns he has to nail without messing up here.
That's a lot of turns, Patrick.
Yeah.
That's a lot of turns.
If you think about it, just one fumble here, and that could really be the be all end all here. See if we can take a ride here with Trevor looking back, Justice Murphy, but now back forward. I think he's catching up to Kevin Orlando here.
Kevin might play there. I'm glad he got out of the way there, but that probably cost Trevor a little bit of time just being careful. That's a really tough part of the track too in these conditions. Well, you're already feathering it, and then you gotta pass Kevin. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, Justice has to do it too, so.
Well, look at the time here. I mean, we're almost at 2.5 seconds.
It's always easier for the second car. You know, I mean, it's one thing to fight for your lap. It's another thing to when that second place guy comes, all the fight's gone.
Yes.
So.
Yep.
We'll see what that really ends up being, but I don't think I heard Trevor too much, but it definitely didn't help.
Yeah, whatever that turn was there, Justice down half a second on that turn. Boy, oh boy, he's got to figure out. But he's able to regain half of it here, so
he's gonna get the draft off of Kevin down this straightaway here too.
Yeah, which
Kevin
is gonna be really
pull
good
over for him here.
Holy cow!
You'd hope so, anyway.
We've actually got the 2 of them on the same screen.
And there's
Trevor's
Trevor
smoking a
locked
tire.
up.
There it goes.
Yep.
That cost him a lot right there.
Yeah, Murphy seeing so many chances here. This is, I mean, the opportunities here. He's just got to get it.
And Earhart's feeling the pressure.
Yep. See, and they just locked it up again. See, this is what happens. You know, you make a mistake, you start to feel the pressure a little bit, and that leads you into another mistake, and then it leads you into another mistake. And the question is, can Justice keep it together in order to capitalize on it? Can he push Trevor into another mistake? He's cut it down to 2 seconds now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, and really, this has been
Awesome.
Justice Murphy's strong part of the track is this section here. This is where Justice actually starts picking up time. So we'll see. And like you said, it just kind of keeps a compound problem over and over and over again. But this should be, if I'm not mistaken, nope, we got 2 to go. I thought it might have been white flag this time around, but Justice still has a little bit more wiggle room here. But he's got his. I mean, how do you right now as Justice Murphy not pick up the pace? I'd try to pick up the pace, and I'd make a mistake here.
You feel like you have to, and that's what makes a really great road course racer is you have to realize what the limits of the car are, and you have to realize when you have to back it off and just how much you can push it. I'm sure he's trying to get just a little bit more, but you know, especially with the way this car is driving here, you're not going to get more in the corners, right? So I mean, if you're going to push it, you're going to push it in the braking zones. You're going to try to brake a little bit later than you did before and just hope the car can get stopped. You're also going to abuse track limits like Trevor was doing right there, and just take it off track if you can without getting the slowdown penalty. I'm sure Justice is doing the same, but you know, I'm sure they've got brake adjustments in the cars. If they're doing everything they possibly can. It's like Justice chopped another 3/10 off right there too. I mean, the pressure is going to really be on Trevor over the next lap and a half, and at this track, it's such a long way around. It's going to be really interesting to see if he can hold on here.
So if you want to talk about picking up the pace here, Justice Murphy had the fastest Section 1 and Section 3 of this track this lap. So he's really putting the hammer down, seeing if he can catch him here. Not quite enough. I mean, even last lap times will get those squared away here. I mean, Murphy's faster than him here, so really what can he do to keep him within range? Still that 2-second gap. He just can't seem to break it here.
That 2:15 flat is a ridiculously good lap time. I think that's the best lap time I've seen all week out of anybody from Justice right there, that last lap.
Yeah. I've shown Trevor Earhart had a just under 2:15, 2:14.96.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's
when I say those guys are on a different level on the road courses, that's exactly what I'm talking. That's exactly what I'm talking about right there.
On the move right now, 1 and 2 closest together. Everybody else about a minute behind here.
But 3 and 4 are actually the same gap, 2-second gap between Thorpe and Burns.
And we'll rotate back here, looking at Jeremy Burns, see if we can find out how far away Grant Thorpe is. Grant Thorpe may have secured himself a third-place finish here, but Grant's gotta, oof. Really, and kind of talk to us here, Robert. What we're looking at here is you see Grant Thorpe kind of going off the table here. Is it good to use up extra parts of this track to, kind of maintain speed?
It is in some respects. A lot of times when you end up out there, it's just because you didn't get hard enough to the brakes. But, I mean, there's definitely time to be gained in running wide of the traditional F1 track limits. I mean, just because there's a curb there doesn't mean in NASCAR that you necessarily have to stay inside of that curb. So there is time to be gained by taking things out wide and carrying that momentum, especially in situations where you're going down a longer straightaway. But in his circumstance there, that looked like he'd probably overdo it.
Yeah. Right now we're riding along here with Grant Thorpe looking back at Jeremy Burns. And Jeremy Burns, you can see the rotation of that car. He's flopping this thing
He's
around.
sending it. He wants that spot, man.
Yeah.
He's driving hard for that spot right now.
And this is our final lap. We have white flag out.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be tight. It looks like Earhart might just have this one. There may be no doubt about that unless Earhart messes up big time during the turn. Battle here for third is going to be the one to watch.
Oh, Grant
There we
overshot
go.
it big right there. Let's see. Yeah, Jeremy's
He's
going to get him right
gonna
here.
get him.
We're
Yeah.
going to be side by side into the corner, and it's so let's just hope they both come out the other end. Oh, this is going to get good here.
Yeah.
Look at a side draft out of Jeremy there. Side draft.
Yes.
See who's going to break later. Early breaks into being really deep. He's not going to cut him off, though. He's going to try to do the undercut on corner exit, maybe. Oh, no, he just overshot the quarter.
Oh.
Yeah, it looked like when he
He's got a
swerved to
little
the
time
right,
left here.
he was going to aim for a cross-up move. Earhart wins the race here. Murphy will be second. Third, we'll see here in just a second.
Looks like Jeremy's got third locked up without a major mistake here. Grant's also not one to push it too hard and wreck a guy. So as I say that,
Justice Murphy. Justice Murphy is second right now. Third, Burns is holding it. Can he keep it?
man, every single point matters in this league in these playoffs, man. Even Grant Thorpe's going to send it in there and see what he can make happen. Give it one more shot through here, maybe run off wide. See if he can carry a little momentum to the final corner. Go too far back to make it happen without contact. Oh, he's going to send it.
Grant
No.
sends it.
Baby.
Grant sends it. Oh, look at look at Jeremy Burns. Oh man, he's pumped up about that one. Dang. Well, you gotta give it to Grant. I mean, he had nothing to lose here. He's got almost he almost had 6 or 8 seconds before Parker Johnston catches up and get it done there. There you go, Jeremy Burns.
I'm glad Grant could hold on to fourth there. I was feeling a little bit bad for him there, thinking he might lose a spot, but he ended up holding his spot, so it was worth it.
Yeah. I mean, in your situation, you know, you would probably do the same thing. I've got nothing to lose. Last turn, just send it. You know, let's see if it'll hold. It'll hold. If not, it is.
Sometimes you just got to find the limits of the car, Patrick.
Oh yeah. Well, Jeremy Burns now getting hot as of late. Got the Daytona run, and now he comes away with a third place finish here at COTA. Feeling pretty solid here at this point. Here rolling into the final 12. This is really heating up to be something here during these playoff races. Rob, appreciate you joining us here tonight. We expect to see a show out of you at Bristol. Just insider information. What should we be looking at Bristol? You know, what's kind of the key to being fast there?
Not getting trashed. It's going to be a wild race. These cars are a little bit weird there too, so we're going to have a lot of guys show up to Bristol. It's a fun racetrack. We had 18 here tonight for this race. I expect 20 plus at Bristol. It's going to be a wild race, man, and in a race that matters so much, you're going to see tempers flare, you're going to see bumpers to bumpers and contact, and you're going to see a lot of that stuff a week from tonight. It's going to be really exciting. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should definitely be a good one for sure. I'm pretty pumped up about that one because really I think some guys don't show up for the road course, and I think some get nervous when it starts getting into that championship chase. But it's still, regardless, you could have somebody outside the points take the win. I mean, I would love to see that. Some boy who's not in a points chase let's say Sirkovich, Sommer, Bennett, one of those guys take the win at Bristol, and then now it shuffles everybody up. It's no longer the win and you're in. Now it's based on the points part.
Absolutely, but someone who's not worried about that right now is Trevor Earhart doing burnouts on the front straightaway. Doesn't have to worry about Bristol next week. He get trashed on lap 1 and
still make it.
Break a toe link, and he's got nothing to worry about. Carefree. I know he's practiced a lot for the race this week, so congratulations to him.
Oh yeah, definitely we are watching him do the burnouts here, getting it, feeling pretty confident for the entire race, led every single lap up front, and just was able to capitalize. Started on the pole, ends in first. Excellent job by all these gentlemen here tonight.
Speaking of which, Patrick, Trevor Earhart wins $20 tonight for winning the race. We also had a $20 prize for a random winner.
A random finisher.
For a random finisher, excuse me. We had the not random winner, Trevor. Now we have the random finisher award, and that's going to Parker Johnston tonight. Wins the random finisher award, gets $20 himself, and also a top 5, which I think, given that he's in a tough battle for the playoffs, he'll probably take the top 5 over the $20. But congratulations to him as well.
Yeah, big time stuff here. See if we
Well,
can
it should really affect Grant Thorpe too, because of where he finished. I mean, where the other fellas, number 7 and 8, Orlando and Kenton, were much further down. Won't that flip them probably above the line?
It's going to be really close. I wish I had all the exact math for you right now, but we're going to have a really tight cutoff line for that race at Bristol, which is not a racetrack as a driver that you want to go into that close to a cutoff.
Yeah.
But as a viewer, you want as many cars close to that cutoff as you can get for peak entertainment. So it's going to be a good one for sure.
14-second
I'm all about
laps.
the entertainment.
Yeah, 14-second laps, absolutely. So great job. Hats off to Parker Johnston coming away with $20 here tonight, and Trevor Earhart will be coming around with the other 20. And we just rolled up our last of the run here. Let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead and round up most of our drivers here for the night and how they ended up placing here so far. Great job, Jeremy Burns. We watched that finale for that one. So close all race, and he was able to squeeze it out here, Stella, and I just don't know how in the world he did it. But once again, let's go ahead and grab a hold of Jeremy Burns. Jeremy Burns, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
What a race. All right, you were able to wait out Grant Thorpe there. Kind of what was, how do you stay calm, and what was the key to getting in front?
So I was just kind of chilling there, and then all of a sudden I saw the caution flag came up, and I saw that it was Grant, and I knew that, his tires were probably going to be super hot from spinning, and after that, I just knew that in that little middle section there before we got to the turn right before the backstretch, I could gain a lot of time, and going down the backstretch there for the final time, coming out of that turn, he ended up overdriving it. So I knew that I had inside advantage. I knew that I had descended, but I didn't want to wreck him for it. I mean, I know that we made contact earlier in the race, but, I made contact with Brandon Richardson, so I kind of passed it on to him instead of, Thorpe on accident. But, just staying calm there and just try to get as much as I can without biting too much. We're in the playoffs now, so can't take too big a risk, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, it's definitely bumping and banging, trying to figure out how to get your way back to the front. It just continues to be a good charge for you. Sitting 6th in the points, this will help move you up or over Alves and close to Justice Murphy, depending on Caleb Gilbert's finish. Caleb Gilbert started 6th, so this may slide you up another position. Gets you a lot farther away from that cutoff line here. You are only about 9 points over coming into this race. We moved to a short track. I mean, you're Michigan. We felt okay. Super Speedway. We head to a road course now. Now we head to Bristol. And I think you and I have talked before, even at your win at Daytona. How confident you feeling heading to the Concrete Mixing Bowl?
I mean, it's going to be one of those races, man, where you don't know where your car is going to be at the end. You just have to survive. And then especially if we get cautions towards the end, who knows what's going to happen. Tempers are probably going to be flaring, but at the same time, you know what? That's what it's for. It's going to be great to watch it. For everyone watch out there, I'm sure that it's going to be a great one. But yeah, as a driver, I like the points that I got today. That was the whole goal today. After seeing practice and seeing Justice and Trevor out there run a second and a half faster, I said, you know what? we just had to sit in, have a good points day, and that we got good stage points and we got third. So we set ourselves up to not have as much pressure going into Bristol. But man, you just never know what's going to happen there.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's why I've been telling everybody, even if you're not good at road course, come out here and score some points. There's no sense in not trying. You know, you come out here, you get an angle. It works out for some. Worked out for you tonight. Some not so much. You know, so some of these guys who were at that cutoff line or below definitely got punished today and they need to be really on their game heading into the Bristol run. But Team Disconnect and the 9 Chevrolet came in third here tonight. Give me your shout-outs.
First guy shout out Disconnect. Second I got shout out you guys, Stella and Pat. Y'all do an amazing job. Got shout out my mom and my dad. Got shout out the guys and gals of 604. Obviously they're all out there. I bet you that they're just begging to get in at this point. But gotta thank everybody in my family that supports me. I know Coach P, Sonny, his kid out there is really supporting me. Bentley. And just anyone else that's around the family that supports me in every race, you know, it just helps a lot. And, you know, getting towards the end there, I was really satisfied. And then as soon as Grant came off, I knew I had to push that one final spot. And I knew I could just hear, you know, the voices of everybody saying, "Go, Jeremy, go." But, you know.
Well, they were out in the chat yelling it. You betcha.
Yeah, definitely a good push. We saw it from the outside. This time I got the camera on when you came across the line. I saw the fist pumping. You were ready this time.
Yeah.
All righty, Jeremy. Well, I can't wait to see what you got for us at Bristol. You practiced enough here. Let's get back to practicing at Bristol, man. Good job tonight.
Thank you.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, there we go.
You know, if I did have to pick somebody in the, you know, in the leaderboard or whatnot, in the playoffs, he is one of those all-round drivers.
Yes.
You know, in mind, he can do well here. He can do well on the speedways. He can do well on the short tracks. So, I mean, him being sixth in the, you know, in the standings, mind you, like I said, mathematically, he's not going to win. But I like his odds.
He's the all-rounder everybody's looking for. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. You know, I don't know whether he'll have his own team coming up. You know, all-rounder.
Oh.
Nick Alves is doing well, but is he going to have his own team? And we'll see how that ends up next season. But let's go ahead and stay here with Coda. Justice Murphy in the booth already. Second place. Just didn't have enough for Earhart here tonight. Hey, bud. Oh, come on, Justice. He done muted himself. Come on.
Oh, no.
No. Uh-oh. Mic down. Mic down, champ. Mic down. All right, Rob, I'm going to have you chase down Justice here and see if he can
I'll go figure out what's going on there and get back with you here in a second.
Yeah, I
Patrick.
appreciate that, man. See if he's got something stuck here. Because I definitely want to check in. I want to check in with Justice here and talk to him about the All About Bugs 115 here. And see what's going on.
We're not saying that he has a bug in his system, but we're not saying it has anything to do with bad pest control.
Yeah,
It won't let him join up in here. So let's jump up to that other channel, Patrick. And,
All right, we'll do. All right, to the interrogation room. Justice Murphy, what is going on here, bud?
Wishing I could have connected to the right channel there. I don't know what was going on there, but just one of those things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I pulled you down, wasn't muted or anything, yet the woes continue. Discord, come on, what are you doing here? All right, well, I saw what you were doing here at Coda. We talked to you before, just not enough here for Trevor Earhart tonight.
Nah, he was on rails. It's kind of like that all week at practice. I knew I was around at half a second on a good lap. Kind of slower than him. We were talking right there before I got pulled. I was there were a few laps where I kind of outran his fastest, but kind of consistency wise, we were on the same level. We were just going to check out, and kind of whoever got out in front was going to be able to maintain it.
Yeah, definitely on the move. We saw you catching up to him. He made a few mistakes. You were down 5 seconds down, reeled him in within 2, and then I think he started mirror driving there for a little bit. He saw the All About Bugs Chevrolet coming on him. He said, oh boy, here it comes. But just unable to grab it there. I noticed there were a few sections you started getting faster. Section, I believe it was 1 and section 4, but he had you on 3. So definitely it was a weird tangle up here tonight.
Yeah, he was. We were talking about that. I kind of was gaining on him the last probably third of the track. There was areas of the track where I didn't realize he was kind of holding it wide open through 10, which is a little kink before you get to the first hairpin, and that was something that I wasn't able to do at the beginning of the race, which is weird, but it's just kind of the way the car handles. I also kind of abuse the off-track limits that you can kind of push here and make up a little time without getting a slowdown penalty. So there's a few areas you can kind of abuse that, and we were kind of laughing about that. But man, I just didn't have anything for him. Man, he was quick.
Yeah, definitely on a tear. 4th in points, but a 2nd place finish tonight. This heads you into Bristol next week. Confidence level heading there.
I love Bristol. We'll see what we got when we get there. I know there's been a couple of times in some other leagues we've run, get a little tangle up, and somehow I always end up at the front. So if I can just end up in the right position, I'd like to get through on a win. Like to get another win this year, but I'd be okay getting through on points. However, I got to squeak through, get to the next round, and try to get to Phoenix.
All right, so you think you're going to be able to handle it better than the guys in real life at Bristol, because they're saying these cars are garbage there.
Yeah, the tires fall off a little better on iRacing than they do IRL. We were actually discussing that the other day. Trevor and I raced Darlington in the official, and Willie B happened to be in there, and he was talking about how much better the tire model is on the B car. But for whatever reason, these tires just kind of fall off tremendously at a place like Bristol. So we'll see. It'll be really loose, kind of off of two and four, and you'll see guys kind of self spin. Bad part about Bristol is if they bounce off that inside wall, they may pile a few up.
Yeah, there's still always that possibility, and really you don't know, really what's the best route. I mean, it could be one tangle up, and then they're right back in front of you again. There's nothing you can do about it. So I hope the best for you. I definitely know a solid place finish tonight. A couple of guys had a little worse, and they're going to be sliding back. So this should secure you at least for the 8. I know you want to get a win. Talladega's in the final 8 too, so that's also going to be another big toss up. So go ahead and give me your shout outs and talk to me a little bit all about Bug, since you're actually sponsored tonight.
Yeah, shout out to Chapman Environmentals, kind of sponsoring us all year, man. They've been great to us. Ultimate Siding and Guttering, you guys at Simtrax, Butt Kicker. You guys do great every week. There's nothing that makes my Thursday much better than going back and listening to you and Stella and kind of the commentary that comes along. I kind of love it. But
Oh dear.
and then of course all about bugs on the car, man. Always will be special to me. So it's fun to be able to get out here and run well in the sponsored races in the sponsored car, and nothing like a little tease. I'll tease a little bit, but I think everybody will like the paint scheme next year. Grant's been sending me some proofs of concepts, so it'll be fun, and I hope everybody likes it.
All righty, Justice Murphy and the number 12 Chevrolet. Get to practice in Bristol, man. You got a tall hill to climb.
Yes, sir. See you next week at Bristol, guys.
Will do.
Bet.
Justice Murphy, man, he definitely calm down for that one. That's gonna be tough. But that moves us to our race winner here. Of course, that being Trevor Earhart. No doubt in your mind, that's exactly who was gonna bring home the win here in this chunk. I just don't know if anybody out there could have really caught up to him. But we'll ask Trevor and see what was the key to winning here tonight. Trevor Earhart, you got a copy.
I do. How's it going?
Oh man, well, how's it going from all the way up front all race?
I just wanted Justice to know what it felt like at Daytona.
Oh.
Is basically what it came down to. No, in all seriousness, it was going into this race, I knew he was going to be the one that I was going to have to fight with the most. We put in a lot of practice over the last week, he and I, and that's the one thing that helps a lot, is having somebody to really push you at these types of tracks, make you better, make you find speed in places that you didn't think you could. And I mean, apart from a couple of mistakes here and there, I think he would have been up there with me, and we would have had a great battle. But nonetheless, it feels really good. It felt really good the whole race, honestly. Overall, had a blast.
Well, I'm going to poke you, Will, on the mistakes. You started making some mistakes there in the final few laps. Justice Murphy was back almost 6 seconds and caught up to within 2. Were you mirror driving?
So I had a slight panic attack and thought I miscalculated my fuel. So I went into hard fuel saving mode, and I drive the car off of engine sound for my braking points. I think I'm an oddity at that. I don't look at braking boards. The engine sound is how I judge my braking zone. So when you're clutching it, you tend to miss your braking points a little bit. So that didn't help me out. But yeah, once I realized that I was good on fuel there, hopefully it was back to, it felt like it was back to normal. Hopefully it looked like that on the broadcast. But yeah, definitely missed a couple of braking points in there when we were trying to save some gas.
Yeah, well, we saw that reeling in, but just every single lap, just getting enough fuel, no tires for you tonight, and flying around up front just seemed to be exactly what you needed. This locks you into the Elite Eight, and you and Robert Rader have really been passing it back and forth. At this point, unknown whether this surpasses you with Rader on the points run. Seeing his finish here tonight and where you finished tonight, I don't know how that's going to chop up, seeing that what we're to look at here for the upcoming races, and the upcoming races being Bristol now you've got this road course under your under your wing. That's now in the back pocket. We're A-okay. Now we head to Bristol, and how confident are you feeling there and surviving that half mile track?
A lot more confident now, especially after getting the win here tonight. I really had Coda circled on the schedule. Definitely didn't want to go into Bristol having to worry about points, so this really helps. And I love Bristol as a track. It doesn't love me back. We've had our disagreements with one another. May or may not have wrecked myself out of the lead a couple of times there at that track. So going in next week, not having to worry about it is a big relief. But we're gonna go out there and try to get the Black Rifle Earhart Group car back in victory lane. Just to say we did it and go on to the next round with as much momentum as we can.
All right. Well, since I've got you up here, I want to talk about that round of 8 since you've already secured yourself. Which track are you feeling more confident at? We'll start with Kentucky, Talladega, or Darlington, because that you're going to have to get really close on one of those to square yourself for the championship Final Four.
Kentucky. It is a reverse Texas, and as much as everybody hates Texas, and trust me, I'm not the happiest with it, considering I've been going every year with my dad for 20 some odd years to watch races there in person. I love driving it in sim. Kentucky's turn 3 and 4 is just like Texas's 1 and 2, and vice versa with 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 at Kentucky. So feeling really confident going into there. Talladega, it's Talladega, man. It's all about survival there. So hopefully we can get the win, or be up in the top 3 at Kentucky and not have to worry about Talladega. And then Darlington, I'm terrible. I'm just gonna say it. I am not my strongest of racetracks. So if we are in a points situation, I think I will be turning about as many laps as I possibly can before that week. But hopefully we aren't in that situation going into Darlington.
Yeah, Darlington is that, you either got 1 and 2 or you got 3 and 4. Getting both is the hard part. For sure. But man, Trevor Earhart, your 21 Chevrolet own this track here tonight. Give me your shout outs, man. Let's get everybody kind of prepped for Bristol, because it's going to be a wild one.
First off, I got to shout out the race sponsor, All About Bugs, and Justice Murphy and those guys, and his whole team for putting up practice sessions all week and pushing one another to get the most out of each other as we could. Shout out to you and Stella for the great broadcast, all the admins in the league, all the drivers in the league. I know road courses aren't everybody's forte, but pretty decent little turnout here tonight, so I appreciate everybody showing up. Can't wait to see the rest of the guys at Bristol next week. And then my friends and family back home. I mean, my mom, my dad, Jane and Terry. Obviously, the Earhart Group was the primary sponsor. We got the car cleaned up after the whole Homestead fiasco. I had to do the car right, man. I had to do right for this car after that dominating performance we had at Homestead. But able to bring that home for them. The whole Earhart Group, that whole team of realtors, they're all fantastic people. If you're ever in Oklahoma City and need anything real estate related, definitely look them up. They're just great. My grandparents back in Houston, big fans. They tune in every week to cheer me on. I'm pretty sure when I do something horrible, I can hear my grandmother yelling all the way from down in Houston. So I got to give them a huge shout out. My aunt and uncle also tune in, and then my sister and her husband and my nephew Aiden. He just started watching a couple of weeks ago, so finally got the win there tonight for him. So all in all, I mean, I got to thank my friends and family, thank everybody who tunes into the league every night, and man, what a race it was.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Trevor Earhart, great job tonight, and catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
And all your folks would love it if you would put a little bit more light on yourself when you're on cam. Ah, beautiful.
My screen. I'm sorry, my screen went to sleep.
They want to see your lovely
Yeah, I
face
know.
while you're being interviewed.
I know. I'm sorry.
All right, Trevor, good job, bud.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, Stella and Trevor Earhart right there getting it done here tonight. Race winner. Super excited to see him actually pull this one off here. Just we'll kind of do a roundup here just a little bit from the final kind of the final take from you guys. Stella, talk to me about this race, kind of what were your highlights and what are we looking at what are your output for Bristol?
Bristol, I'm dying to see because first of all, it's the Simtrax Mixing Bowl.
Oh yeah.
Sponsored by Simtrax Broadcasting. But I'd like to see some more people come out because, we're back to short track again and, a lot more competition. This was cool, but rarely did you see more than, say, 2 people competing for the same spot. When, I'm a little more into the action. I think the skill level here is fantastic. It was pretty cute because we had discussed, how Justice left, Trevor, and then here it was just the exact reverse. But road courses are cool, but I want to see more drivers not being afraid of coming out and being silly.
Yeah, road courses are definitely people like them and people hate them, and I think what you saw tonight, the people that like them and then the people that hate them, definitely. Well, I'm sure we'll see record numbers coming to Bristol and to Talladega. What about you, Rob? Kind of talk to me a little bit. What you took away from this race and what we head into next week.
I mean, you guys were doing an excellent job, so I didn't want to interrupt. But congratulations, Trevor, on the win tonight, and Stella, you make a great point. Road course racing is kind of its own thing. There's a lot of finesse involved, and guys can be 3 seconds apart, and you're analyzing who's doing what better. Next week when we go to Bristol, it's going to be elbows out, and it's going to be wild. There's just no way around it, and I'm sure I'll be fast. I'm sure Trevor will be fast. Both of us are locked in. I mean, we can go in there and wreck each other, and it doesn't matter, right? So you got that
Right.
to look forward to. You have all the cutoff line stuff to look forward to. You have any type of other circumstances that come up where guys get angry at each other. You got that to look forward to.
Oh no.
We're gonna have a lot of people showing up for the race next week. I bet we have a significantly better turnout. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be fun, and it's sponsored by Simtrax Broadcasting. So I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that.
Oh yeah, well I definitely want to make sure we got a name on there on a critical point in the playoffs. It's gonna be a nasty one for sure. Finding a car out there without a bent panel, finding not a handful of car with broken toe links, I would be very, very surprised.
Because you said elbows out. I'm thinking elbows out and bumpers in.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, Patrick, you'd be doing well if you put together a couple more like caution flag montage picture things, between now and then, because we might need them.
In other words, these are getting worn out. They'll be used so much.
Hey, I'm glad I don't have to worry about points. I'm sure Trevor's happy he doesn't have to worry about points, and I can guarantee you it's going to be an exciting race.
I must say, Kevin Orlando posted a standings sheet that finally makes sense to me.
Okay.
That if he could do that again for next week, I mean, because it lays it right down there. I mean,
we will have it set up for you, and we'll do our best to have it organized so that hopefully you guys have an idea of what the points look like after the stage. We'll do our best to give you something to work with there.
oh, splendid.
Awesome. All right, everybody from Simtrax Broadcasting. Patrick Morrison here in the booth. Joined alongside me, Robert Roeder, Season 1 winner, aiming for Season 2 now, and Stellar Stella here in the booth. To next week, we are going to be looking at Bristol Motor Speedway. I believe we have 250 laps for that one, stage break around that 65-55 mark, and it's going to be a nice shot for that. Bowden Motorsports, Jacob Comer, I believe Logan Romney even joined us out in the chat tonight. Debbie Smith, Elite Reviews, was out there. Appreciate you guys, all of you showing up there tonight. Don't forget to tune back in. If you're unsure what time, check out simtracksbroadcasting.com. I've got my entire schedule out there locked and loaded, ready for you guys next week. So be well, be safe, be kind, and I'll catch you all guys next time.